spokesperson.
Debatable.
I said biggest.
No, he's got me there.
The new iPhone 15 Pro is here. Built with titanium and featuring the most powerful iPhone camera yet. It will boost infinite and transcend to a wireless utopia. The new titanium iPhone 15 Pro on us, no trade-in needed. Enjoy unlimited wireless on the latest iPhone every year for $60 a month.
The first pick in the Jersey Mike's Daily Box draft, Sarah from Carolina selects number 13, the original Italian.
You know, I trust my gut, and that's exactly where the sun's going to go. So,
The Jersey Mike's Daily Box, a silver boundary.
Welcome, class. You guys know the theme of the book? The theme is the NFL and CBS streams live on Paramount Plus. I'm sorry.
Houston, we have a problem. Code yellow to be exact, as today is October the 1st, 2023. We'll have the Steelers and the Texans coming up live next on CBS. So thanks for tuning in and watching my live watch-along reactions live right here on YouTube. As always, I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cohen Luke 96. As two of the most historic cities, boom towns, if you will, back in the day that turned into what they are now, with the steel and oil industry. Of course, the Oilers became the Texans after they left for Nashville to become the Titans, and then Houston 21 years ago became the 32nd team in the league, as they're going to take us first on the field now. NRG Stadium in Houston, site of this year's college football playoff national championship game. The Steelers are coming off an appearance last Sunday night on the road as well in Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Of course, hosting the Super Bowl come February. Code yellow on the way home. An emergency landing in Kansas City due to some leaky oil pressure in the airplane's engine, but they made it home safe and sound. That's all that matters. Short week then, with that on top of it, back on the road here today. We'll have Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta on the call. Pittsburgh, of course, in their road white. Steeler Nation going to show up, as they always do. Houston wearing all red today with red helmets and red jerseys. Have the end zones painted red, I might add, as well, as they'll honor and retire J.J. Watt's number 99 here today against his brother's team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, yes, thank you for tuning in and watching my live watch-along reactions live right here on YouTube. As always, I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cohen Luke 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hit the red subscribe button, notification button next to it, live right here on YouTube. Links, once again, in the description. Thumbs up button, share hashtag NFL, hashtag Steelers, hashtag Texans. Chat questions and comments, super chat, super sticker, super like, super thanks. Always greatly appreciated, as well, as this video is powered by both Rogue Energy and HopeKThrifts. First off, with Rogue Energy, be sure to get your favorite energy and hydration flavors in can or tub form, shakers, and Rogue Energy merch at the link in the description below. Be sure to use the code LUKE, that's LUKE123 for 10% off. HopeKThrifts, a secondhand resale shop that focuses on sustaining the environment in a cheap and fashionable way, as most items are $20 or less and include brands like American Eagle, Converse, Free People, and Shine, among others. HopeKThrifts, found on Depop, Instagram, Macari, and Poshmark at, you guessed it, HopeKThrifts. HopeKThrifts. So be sure to use the message seller code CHEAPTHRIFTS, CHEAPTHRIFTS, CHEAPTHRIFTS on the message seller code for 10% off as well. Link also in the description below. As a few injuries for both teams. First off, with the visiting Steelers, of course, still without Cam Hayward and Deontay Johnson, as they're on IR for the time being, with some groin and hamstring injuries suffered earlier this season. As it's the start of week 4, this first day of the new month, October of 2023 already. Hard to believe, I know, but it is football season and we roll on. Pittsburgh going to be without James Daniels up front at right guard, so Herbig will get the start not to confuse with his little brother Nick, who is a rookie linebacker for the Black and Gold. Nate Herbig starting up front at right guard for the Steelers. Going to help protect Kenny Pickett, and hopefully the Black and Gold can get a running game going here today. Looked a little bit better last week, but it needs to be more consistent. And then Presley Harvin with his blue suede shoes, he's out with an injury. Pittsburgh brings back a familiar name in Brad Wing, who last appeared in the NFL in 2017. Most recently with the Giants, but he was a Steeler before then. Recently in 2014, before they dealt him to the Big Blue, and hasn't played since. But he was a reliable punter when they had him on the active roster. They signed him earlier this week with Harvin's injury status, whether he's going to play or not, out on Friday. So then they promoted Wing from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. They traveled as a team, as they always do. All 182 members of the organization once again made it back safely from Vegas last Sunday night, more like early Monday morning, Monday afternoon, because of the situation with the flight back home. Code yellow. We'll have to ask some flight attendants what that means. But they made it all back home and safe and sound to the 412, rather than early Monday morning at like 5-6 a.m. It was like Monday afternoon at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, after a delay, awaiting a new plane to arrive to take them home, as they actually used the Georgia Bulldog airplane. As of course the game got over about 11:30 last Sunday night. They left Vegas then 3 hours later, 2:30 Eastern, so it was 11:30 Pacific. The time difference with East Coast and then the Pacific time zone. But they were on their way home about 5 a.m. They realized oil pressure was leaking in one of the airplane's engine, so they had to make an emergency landing. Landed in Kansas City. Once again, had to wait for a new plane. And then they got on that new plane, which was the Georgia Bulldog plane, and then back to Pittsburgh. Tomlin gave them off Tuesday, as they were scheduled to be off Monday, but then he gave them off Tuesday to reacclimate, get ready for this week's prep for the Texans. Practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Walk through yesterday, and then flight to H-Town for today's game, 1 p.m. Eastern time on CBS. That'll kick off momentarily. So Pittsburgh's coming off a win on the road against the Raiders last Sunday night. Texans went to Jacksonville last Sunday and beat the Jags as well. I mean, Jacksonville just won over in London across the pond against the Falcons, who have looked, all right. But, I mean, that's just the name of the game. It's a game of inches, but anybody can win, let alone lose on any given Sunday, as the saying goes. So, Pittsburgh's a 3-point favorite here today. They last met in 2020 in front of no fans. Pittsburgh won that game. This is Pittsburgh's first trip to Houston since Christmas night a few years before then. They've had some good success against the Texans, who have a first-year rookie head coach along with a rookie quarterback and C.J. Stroud out of Ohio State as he takes the field. Of course, C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson back-to-back in the first round for the Texans, second and third overall after Bryce Young went number 1. So we'll see what the Cowboy from Tuscaloosa does, wrecking havoc against the Steeler line. However, of course, there's T.J. Watt, J.J. Watt's one brother playing for Pittsburgh, 6 sacks through 3 games, on track to potentially break the all-time season sack record that he technically broke, let alone tied, so they said a few years ago when he was the Defensive Player of the Year. Of course, battled injuries last year, but then got healthy, played pretty damn good As he would say, he'd still probably be able to beat you on his worst day. Still looked like himself, even though he wasn't. And now he's back to full strength and, playing like the TJ Watt and the Steeler defense that we know him to be at times for the most part. That's the thing offensively. They need to find a running game today to help out Pickett. First game on CBS for the Steelers this year, which is a little bit of a surprise. But they, hosted the 49ers on Fox week 1, and then a Monday night and a Sunday night game on ABC, ESPN, and NBC. So they'll have this game today, host the Ravens next week, and then have a bye week. But it's one game at a time, take care of business, and then as Baltimore's in Cleveland right now, going to take on the Browns. We'll keep an eye on that game. We're also going to be watching the Eagles and the Skins, the Washington football team, the Commanders, if you will, or whatever the hell you want to call them. But should be a good game. I mean, both head coaches are defensive minded. D'Amico Ryans comes from San Francisco back to Houston where he played. As there's Mike Tomlin. He's 23-4 all time against rookie quarterbacks, and that's C.J. Stroud for the Texans. And as I was saying, there's D'Amico Ryans then too, most recently 49ers defense coordinator. Pittsburgh just got blown out by the 49ers. So I would think San Fran's game plan is going to be similar to what the Niners did. We'll see, how it turns out as J.J. Watt's going to pump up this crowd. But there's a TJ Watt on the Steelers that's going to be making plays today as he fires the cannon. As they're dressed in red, Pittsburgh in the road whites once again. I'm not going to be surprised if we see some, bigger plays today. More explosive plays by both of these offenses. What defense bends doesn't break. Houston back deep to receive. So Steelers, on the kickoff, they deferred on the coin toss after winning it. Boswell to boom it away. I mean, hell, they could have had him punt if they wanted to, but he's going to kick off, and of course, extra points and field goals as well, as Brad Wing is punting today. So Pittsburgh can kick off left to right across your television screen, right in our dial. Houston back deep to receive. Laramie Tunsil's out up front for the Texans, I might add. As I was getting to there with the injuries, they'll return from a few yards deep. 10, 15, 20, that's a hold. That is a hold. And they finally wrap them up. So 1st and 10. Houston with C.J. Stroud at quarterback. We'll see how he plays against the physical defense. They're 1-2. Pittsburgh's 2-1. It's still early, still lots of football to be played. This will be the first of 4 matchups for Pittsburgh against the AFC South this season, as they'll also have to go to Indianapolis later on this year, right before Christmas. Then they'll host Jacksonville in Tennessee within the next month. 1st and 10, Stroud looking to throw over the middle. It's incomplete. Good coverage by Levi Wallace, who finally stepped up and made some plays last week. So incomplete. 2nd and 10. I don't know if that was a misdirection, a little miscommunication on the snap, if he was going to hand off and the back wasn't there, or if it was just a 2-step drop and throwing a slant, as Damian appears to be toting the rock. They have some receivers to throw the ball to, for sure, for Stroud. Kendrick Green's up front, who Pittsburgh traded to Houston after the preseason. They get a first down there on the run. And Kendrick Green, they picked him out of Illinois a few years back and was absolute trash. So they cut ties, and at least they got something for him in a draft pick rather than just having to cut him. And then he could have signed, of course, anywhere, but then they traded him. And then with their injuries also up front, he's going to get the start today, and we'll see how the Steeler defense gets to him, because they should know him better than any player on this Texan offense, because he was a teammate of theirs for the past few years. as they hand off again 2, maybe 3 yards to Marvin Leal from A&M down the road here in Houston, making a play. So 2nd and 8 coming up, but yeah, they're still missing Cam Hayward in the middle. TJ Watt, Highsmith though coming off the edge. Secondaries, been making plays. So it's pressure into turnovers if they can get it. It's stop the run. It's run the football yourself offensively. They got to get Freiermuth more involved. But empty set, 2nd and 8, Stroud going to tuck it and run. And he gets a first down. So Houston, a couple first downs here on their opening drive. Out past midfield now, a minute and a half in. So we'll see here how things go. Of course, defense, you'd like them to get the hell off the field as quick as possible, but still a lot of football left here. You got to control the line of scrimmage. You can't let them continue to pick up first down like this. So hand off and another yard or 2, maybe 3 or 4 after he keeps pushing the pile. And they finally wrap them up. So they're putting themselves in manageable situations here, but here before too long, you'd think, at least hope that pressure is going to be there. They get to them, make a few mistakes, and they're keeping it balanced for the time being. They've been consistent at moving the ball downfield thus far. A couple minutes in on our opening drive, already a few first downs once again. So from 39, 2nd and 6, out of the gun, Stroud looking to throw, and then a dump off on the screen, which might be the Steelers' kryptonite today, as he breaks a few tackles and gets another big first down. And Houston now in the red zone, 1st and 10. So, yeah, because if they bring all that pressure and then he just dumps it off on the screen and then the screen grass in front of him like it just was, there's a big play they just gave up. So, with that being said, yeah, they'll probably end up giving up a few points here on this opening drive. From the 12, force a kick if you can. Don't give up 6, but a handoff, about another yard or 2 if he's lucky. So we'll see here. Because go back a couple weeks, like I was saying with Houston's game plan, you'd think today being similar to the 49ers, run the football, look some play action, keep it simple. 2nd and 9, defense not making any plays, and the offense, can't even get a fucking first down. Pittsburgh is going to be screwed. Texans call a timeout. 11:07 to play in the first. And they'll take a 30-second timeout. Got some other games going on right now around the league. As mentioned, we're also watching Philadelphia from the link on WrestleMania 40. They're tied at 0 as well. So there's more info to be relayed. I'll give you those details of what the hell's going on. We've technically had 2 games gone final already this week 4. The Lions beat the Packers on Thursday night, and then the Jags beat the Falcons earlier today across the pond in London from Wembley Stadium or Andy's room in Toy Story. Lions and Jags victorious. We're watching Washington, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh and Houston. We'll update more stats and scores from around the league coming at halftime, so stay tuned for that. But after the timeout, 2nd and 9 for the Houston Texans. Stroud really hasn't, thrown yet. They run an end around. More missed tackles. Minka finally pushes them out right at the first down mark. We'll see if they give it to him or not. So they're going to be 3rd and short or 1st and goal here. Yeah, they're double teaming J.J. Watt. that would mean you would think somebody else can, get to him. Okay, they marked him out a few yards even before then. They say 3rd and 3. Defense trying to get the crowd pumped up. And Pittsburgh's on the road once again, so Steeler Nation, as they always do, travel extremely well. Out of the gun, empty set. Stroud looking to throw. He's going to tuck it and run. And then he dives, and he's in. Touchdown Texans. So they score with 10:23 to play. They score first in this first quarter on 10-1-23 against this Pittsburgh defense. So, yeah, not a good opening drive by the Steeler D. That's a touchdown. Whether his knee was down right there or not, the ball was right across the goal line, so to speak. That's a touchdown. I'd be shocked if they overturn that, because then it'd be 1st and goal at the inch line. Offense gets back out there, maybe defense makes the stop then. But, they just gave them a 5-minute touchdown drive to begin the game. So we'll see what the offense can do. Like I was saying, it might be a long afternoon for the D if they are going to. And of course, the scoring drive was 9 plays, 69 yards. That's reality. But what can you do? Yeah, but they might be in for a long game, maybe a long afternoon if they continue to give up, drives like that. And then the offense ain't doing anything. Now, if it's, back and forth, as we're going to actually review it. So think about it. Tell us something good, if you will. Calling the field a touchdown. They had to find a newspaper evidence to return it. Of course, all scoring plays are reviewed. That's a touchdown. Most of us fucking give it to them. I'll take, the points off the board, though, if you want to return it. Yeah, by all means, go right ahead. And then the defense makes a stop, forces a kick. Hell, maybe even get a turnover. I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know what make you think that by any means, just because, they just gave up a 70-yard touchdown drive in 5 minutes. You think they're going to stop them from a couple inches, before they give up more points? Probably not. So that'll stand as called. They'll kick the extra point here, and Pittsburgh get the ball. But, yeah, if they can't make stops defensively, and then they can't even get a first down on offense, move the ball more than 10 yards, no running game. If they have a running game, though, which I'd hope, I think they'll be all right. Kenny Pickett, keeping it simple, play calling with Matt Canada, just nothing stupid. Keep the defense off balance, keep them on their heels, back them up like they just backed you up. I mean, we might have ourselves a good game here. I mean, Houston's, capable of, scoring points. I mean, hell, they put up 30 plus last week, for God's sakes. Pittsburgh hasn't even, scored more than the 26 they scored 2 weeks ago. They scored 7, 26, and 23 in the first 3 games, and they're 2-1. Washington just scored in the meantime. So they drove and scored on their opening drive. Philly's going to get the ball here next. So both Pennsylvania teams going to be out on offense shortly. We'll see here what the call is. It should be a touchdown. And then the offense, run the football. They got to get Freiermuth more involved. He has 2 or 3 catches for as many yards and a touchdown through the first 3 games. That's absolutely pathetic. But, all right, the offense actually out on the field, so they obviously overturned it. It'll be 1st and goal now from about the half-yard line for the Houston offense, unless they're going for 2 here. They overturned it. Knees down right there. Balls, they say, short of the goal line. No touchdown. So Landon Roberts going to be credited with the sack, but it's 1st and goal Texans now. From, right inside the 1. Watch them sneak it. They'll motion somebody in. He comes back, and then they'll sneak it, and it's a false start. Yeah. They weren't all set. They all... Bill Vinovich will be our referee. False start on the Texans. 5 yards, they'll replay down. And of course, it was fucking Kendrick Green, so fuck you. No, it was the left guard, not the right guard. Actually, it was the right guard, Shaq Mason, not Kendrick Green. But they said it was on Kendrick Green, so it was on Kendrick Green. False start backing this team up, as he cost the Steelers a lot. He's now costing Houston. So first and goal now, Houston from about the 5.5 yard line. And then Stroud fakes a give. Yeah, the screen's going to work all day for Houston if Pittsburgh brings out pressure and they just, sit and wait. Damian Pierce on the catch and run. Touchdown. There's a flag on the play, though, again. Maybe a hold. Maybe it's coming back. Ineligible man downfield. They'll replay the down again, so back them up once more. All right, let's go. So the touchdown gets overturned. Back-to-back penalties by the Texans, even though they scored again. We continue to back them up, and they'll have, a first and goal still? But back at the 10, 15 yard line, give or take. Yeah, still first and goal for Houston. 10:08 now to play in the quarter. And the ball's going to be at the 10-yard line. And under center is Stroud. Force a field goal. Let alone get a turnover. Stroud will hand off, Pierce, and they wrap him up, no gain on the play. T.J. Watt takes him down. Of course, the Texans are retiring J.J.'s number 99 today, but T.J. making plays. Second and goal, Houston now. And fake the run, looking for a throw near side, incomplete. There's a flag on the play, though. Minka Fitzpatrick was on the coverage. Looks like it's going to be on the Steeler defense. We'll see. Pass interference on the Steelers. On Minka Fitzpatrick, I didn't see anything. That's pass interference now? Are they out to get Minka for something? I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. How is that pass interference? Come on. So first and goal, Texans at the 2 now. Pittsburgh shifts on the line. They hand off. No gain in the play. They stuff them. Defense been out there a while. We'll see as Houston's going to go hurry up here. We'll see if they can get off the field. Force kick. Second and goal. How the hell that was pass interference? All right, whatever. Stroud looking to throw. Slant, caught, touchdown. 8:55 to play, so they extended their drive by, a couple plays and a couple minutes just because of the touchdown getting overturned, and then you had some penalties, but then they, got a penalty, go against Pittsburgh, got a little closer, and then, one play later they ended up scoring, so. 6-0 Texans. Here's the extra point, and then the Steeler offense be out on the field as the Texans take up almost the half of the first quarter. Looks like they'll take a break. So, I don't get how that was pass interference, though. I don't. That was one of the most missed calls I think they've made. Like, they...
This October 10th and 11th, Prime Big Deal Days give Prime members exclusive access to 2 days of big savings.
I mean, how many fucking flags are on that drive?
Big deal.
Good or bad for either team. Like, just total. Like, seemingly they're throwing a flag on every play. They're not even letting them play. They're you know, trying to get the game into their hands, and fucking refs. And that's twice now for Minka Fitzpatrick. A late hit that wasn't a late hit. Now pass interference that wasn't a pass interference. That's what I'm saying. Are they fucking out to get him? Did he, you know, get into the heads of the NFL officials, and now they're making them pay? Like, you can't even fucking, you know, make a play on the ball or tackle anybody, for God's sakes, without even getting a flag called on you anymore. It's fucking ridiculous. It's pathetic. Just, oh my God. No. Mahomes and Mojado. Surprised he's not wearing number 21. But, commercial break. We'll get back to the action here shortly. We'll see what the offense does. We'll go from there. I believe I've said everything I was going to say at the start anyway. You know, just once again, thank God they made it home after last week. You know, because say that, you know, plane would have went down if they didn't realize that, you know, the engine was leaking oil pressure. Anywhere in between Vegas and Pittsburgh, really on a red eye back home. And then, you know, they landed in Kansas City. It was really another hour on the flight, though, back. But they landed safe and sound, and then they, you know, had to wait, but then they got home. But just, as Pittsburgh will return it from about a yard deep. Desmond King, former Texan, back in black and gold as he plays college ball at Iowa. Gets Pittsburgh a 1st and 10 here, down 7, 8:50 to play in the second quarter. But just plane crashes in general, let alone, you know, in sports. Like, everybody in the organization was on that plane. So... First and 10, Pittsburgh. Pickett going to start out of the gun. Najee Harris to his right. He'll get the give. And 3 yards up the middle. You know, yeah, Jalen Warren at times has played better. We'll see both of them today. Offense, though, you know, from Pickens, Allen Robinson to Calvin Austin III, who had a big touchdown last week. Okay, you got to get these tight ends, though, involved. Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward, 2nd and 7, a rollout, intended for 88, but it's incomplete, 3rd and 7. So, can't move the ball more than 3 yards with an incompletion then. And take off a minute of the clock. See what they do here, but Houston's defense might hold and, you know, have to punt. Third and 7 from the 22. Pickett gonna pump fake, tuck it, and run. Gets the first down. All right. Using his legs. Helmet comes off. Says, fuck you. So some trash talk going on. and showing why he is the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had all day to throw. Nobody's open, though. Decided to run with it, and then they wrap him up. Maybe a little bit of a, scuffle there at the end, but then ref breaks it up, and then we move on. So we'll see how, physical this gets. Handoff Najee Harris to the 34-yard line. So 2nd and 6. It's football, so it's going to be physical, but how chippy it gets. Got an update. Ravens just scored. They're up 7-0 at Cleveland. Pittsburgh's next opponent is the Ravens next Sunday at 1 o'clock, so be sure to tune in live right here on YouTube for those live watch longer actions. But we'll see how chippy it gets. They run an end around on Calvin Austin. Oh, good block. Good block by Warren. Be a 3rd and a yard coming up, though. It was just short of the first down marker. That's not a bad play call. It's not. I mean, it's just when you beat a dead horse with it, and then, of course, they have to pan to fucking Matt Canada, and then he's on the TV behind himself, with the game being shown up in the booth. So, 3rd and more like inches, not even a full yard. And they'll sneak it. Kenny Pickett, another first down on the ground with his legs. So they're moving the ball. 2 first downs to the 40-yard line now. Hopefully they can continue the drive, get some points. I'll take a field goal if it comes down to it. Cut the lead, let alone tie it up would be nice. But that's, up front, it's Pittsburgh Steelers football, ground and pound with physicality, run the football. It's a play action, that's what I'm saying. You got to get your tight ends involved. You might want to take a shot here before too long, catch them off guard too if it's there. But just get a drive going. I mean, they've had trouble picking up first downs. Now they get 2 first downs on this drive, but then Pickett fakes the give and goes down the sack. So it'll be 2nd and long. So we'll see what they run next to set up a 3rd down. Unless, the Texans defense is going to be like Penn State's defense yesterday and get a couple 3rd and longs to the Northwestern offense as they did. But, 2nd and officially we'll say 18 after the sack. Which is unblocked. Warren in the ball game tailback. Pickett going to throw. And he will go deep down the middle. And it's going to be picked off at the 22-yard line. So Texans on the return. And then Fryermuth and Allen Robinson, 2 former Penn Staters, wrap them up around midfield. So Steelers turn it over. There's a flag on the play as well. Penalty's going to be declined as it was on the Steelers up front on Chooks. Take it as a hold, but it's intended for Calvin Austin. But he threw it in the double coverage, and they picked it off. So good return as well. 4:46 to play in the opening quarter. Texans lead the Steelers 7-0. So this defense is going to have to make them some fucking stops. Yeah, that's a pick. Well, they might. Was he down there after the interception? No return. Yeah, holding. Penalties declined. And then after the play, there's a penalty, personal foul on the Texans. And then a personal foul on the Steelers. So those will offset. Yeah. First down, Houston, where they returned it at rather than, was he down or not as he made the pick, which didn't look like he was. And it's Steven Nelson, of course it was, on the interception, the former Steeler DB, now Texan. As he just jumped. 1st and 10 Texans, as mentioned. Sorry for technical difficulty there with the buffer disconnect and reconnect, but we're live. We're still good. Knock on wood. But yeah, I mean, I didn't mind they took a shot. I'd said that a couple seconds beforehand, and it's the same fucking play that they ran with Calvin Austin last week against the Raiders. it might have worked if it was somebody else. I mean, obviously they were ready for it. And it was double coverage. And then a former Steeler jumps her out, and Steven Nelson ends up picking him off, and then it's a good return. And then, so you had the holding, and then you had the offsetting personal fouls, which it would have backed him up if it was just a personal foul on the Texans, but you had one there on Pittsburgh too, so the offset really doesn't fucking matter. They just still got to announce it, and then it's, still Houston ball 1st and 10 from the return spot. And that's why I was saying too, okay, maybe they were thinking he was down, maybe they were looking at it. Maybe they are looking at it in this break for all we know. And maybe it's a difference of return yardage, which was a good 35 yards or so, I'd say. So this defense is going to have to make them stops, plain and simple. It was looking like a good offensive drive, and then they turned the ball over. Of course they do. Always got something good going, and then boom, out of nowhere, something bad happens. It's like normally vice versa, all this bad shit happens to them, and then they get, a couple good things go their way, and then, they got some momentum and rhythm. We'll see if they make a stop, get some of that momentum back, get a couple more first downs, at least get some points on the board, because, hell, at least they got a few first downs on that drive, because, week 1, it took them almost the whole entire first half to get a first down. Week 2, it was early second quarter. Last week, okay, they picked up the pace, but just not a good start. I get they'll get the ball to begin the second half because they kicked off. That's a hold. Oh my fucking God. You want to throw a flag for everything else? That is a hold. Second down. And we'll say short. See what the yardage is. 2nd 2, 2nd 3 after a good run. But, they'll get the ball to begin the second half, but then the defense just gave half a quarter, 6-minute touchdown drive. The rest were throwing a flag in every play. They had a decent drive going, and they turned the ball over, and they just go a big run like that. Yeah, 2nd and 2. When it probably should have came back for a hold, and the first down run there. Jesus Christ, guys. You're getting knocked down. You're going to get back up. I get it's a, noon local kick. But still. And whether they had the fiasco or not with the airplane coming home last week, you still have had, time to prepare for this game, as Golden will chase them down, and then Stroud throws it out of bounds, incomplete. So 2nd and 10. Give a couple more yards, they'll probably kick it. Maybe some pressure into... Yeah, look at Houston's offensive line. They've allowed pressure on 41% of dropbacks, which is the 8th highest in the league. And the Steelers, front 7, they have a, good line on, getting to the QB. So, the pressure's been there, but then Houston with the play calling, they're running screens. It's like, here before too long, you need to reset and drop back on the screens and maybe make a play on the ball. That is a hold. Oh my fucking God. Be 3rd and short. So I'll probably end up kicking a field goal here if they don't convert. But if you can, get them out of field goal range, even better. You're going to be down 2 scores here before too long. You're already looking at the second half, having to make a play on defense sometime 3rd, 4th quarter, with the offense hopefully doing something by then too to... Third and 3, slant, caught, first down. Make it interesting, to say the least. Just give yourself a chance. I can already tell this game's going to come down to the wire. Just because they're not playing good. They're fucking sleepwalking. So 1st and 10.
Nice, quick decision. And a lot of that comes down to pre-snap read. You saw, it's gotten better and better. You really started to see it show up last week against Jacksonville. Knowing what the defense is in,
From the 22 and a half.
cutting it loose and
Fake the run, and then Stroud gets rid of it, and incomplete, or was it picked off by Levi Wallace? They say incomplete, 2nd and 10 with 2:10 to play in this opening quarter. It is 7-0. Houston on top of Pittsburgh as they're looking to score again here before the end of the quarter. And Washington, Philadelphia, as mentioned, on Fox. Come on, defense. Hand off to Pierce, and he pierces the Steeler defense for another 5. 3rd and medium coming up.
Top 121 passing attempts without an interception, most over the first 3 games of quarterbacks career.
Like, they need to make some adjustments with how Houston's, calling plays. First off, it stopped the run. And then with that screen game they're running, because of the pressure, just they sit back and wait, and then he's right there. Third and 6. Highsmith gets to him, but he got rid of it, and then it's going to be incomplete in the end zone. So 4th down, they'll kick a field goal. All right. 1, 2, 3 to go. This kick will be, 35, 36 yarder. And Kyrie Fairbairn from 36. Right down the middle. Picks up and good. 10-0 Texans on top of the Steelers as we near the end of the quarter. So they get a field goal off the interception. Get some points off turnovers. Pittsburgh offensively, till that turnover, looked all right. See if they get back to it, or they're just, gonna, all right, we're down, we're gonna play like shit. Which I, hope you, continue to fight and continue to play, because there's a lot of football to be played. Let alone then, like the defense hasn't even, maybe 1 or 2 hits there. He's still getting the ball out though. So credit to him, but not even a chance to get a turnover and then potentially get points off of it. So then that comes down to potentially special teams making a play. If you can force a punt, Calvin Austin get a return there, good field position. Let alone, on top of that, also in special teams. Okay, they've kicked off a few times now to you because they've scored on you. Let's get a good return and let's move the ball and let's score some points. They got to, do something. Like, they just can't let them, continue to score and then act like it's okay, because it's not. Because then the game's just going to get away from you. They were down early, though, last week, too. And then they, ended up tying it up, scored however many unanswered it was. And then, held on to win. But they got to get some stops, and they just got to, execute. Not turn the ball over. That's where we're at. Coming back from commercial break, so. 10-0 Texans. Houston on the kickoff. Let's go.
Good start for the Houston Texans. The very field goal Jones on their lead. They're at 10 with 1:20 left in this first quarter. As Fairbairn puts it back in play, Desmond King.
And we'll have ourselves a touchback. So 1st and 10 from the 25. And Amanda Balonis Renner on the report. Broderick Jones out there for Pittsburgh up front. Rookie out of Georgia. Going to be at left tackle. All right. We'll see what he's got. He's beside Isaac Siumalu. Pickett looking to throw, complete near side. And then he fumbled out of bounds, but Pickens gets 3 yards in the meantime, 2nd down. That's a catch and a fumble out of bounds. Or are they going to say incomplete now? He caught it. 1, 2, 1. Got hit. Going down. Spun. Yeah. Well, technically it's a catch and a fumble, but it went out of bounds. So Pittsburgh ball, 2nd down and 7. Under a minute to play now in this first quarter. And Dan Moore with a right knee injury. That's why Broderick Jones is in the ball game. Handoff, Najee Harris, loss of a few yards. 3rd and long. They will have to snap it, even though there's a 6-second difference between the game clock and play clock. They don't. Play clock's going to expire before the quarter gets over, and there'll be a penalty back them up, so they will have to snap it here. Jones might have had a false start up front, too, by the way, and then they still get to him, and stuff. And like Najee just Jalen Warren's now in the ball game. He's not making as many plays as he once was. Pickett gets rid of it on a screen. Complete to Warren, even though he was going down the sack. Be 3rd and 8. Make it 4th and 8. End of the first quarter, 10-0 Texans. So Pittsburgh will punt to begin the second quarter. With 2 defensive drives, giving up 10 points. 2 offensive drives, an interception, and now a quick 3 and out, and they'll punt. So Houston's controlling the clock, I might add, right now, too. As they're controlling the line of scrimmage as well. They have a running game. Pittsburgh doesn't. But they can't stop them on defense. They've given up 10 points on back-to-back drives total. And then, the interception led to 3 of those 10 points. And then, 3 and out and a punt coming up because just can't move the ball. They can't move the fucking football. It's like, I get there's 2 end zones, but you don't want to be going to the one behind you. Like, you're going backwards too much. Or even if you're going forward, you're not going forward enough for 10 yards. They can't even get a first down now. Back to that. But you got to continue to move forward. You got to at least, get Boswell in field range if you can. Comes down to it, kick it, so be it, and take the points. But they gotta drive and score. Well, we're all gonna get to see Brad Wing coming up. We'll see how he punts. Once again, hasn't been in the NFL in 6 years. Last played for the Steelers in 14. You just don't want any miscues, any errors with, the punt unit here, especially on the road, for a big play that, they capitalize on and, looking back on it then later might be a difference. So hopefully he can boom it away. Maybe they get down there. Maybe there's a muffed punt. I don't know. Fumble on the return. Make a play on the ball. Survivor's back. I don't know how the hell they cast the players they cast anymore, but still best damn TV show on TV. But then defensively they gotta make a stop. They gotta get the pressure. They gotta force turnovers. They gotta stop the run. And until they do, this is just gonna be the way it is, and they're gonna be up shit creek without a paddle. So to begin the second quarter, the Steelers will punt down 10. It is 10-0. And Brad Wing on the booming away, and for Presley Harpin today, who's out with an injury. And it's looking like Jeff Reed. Muffed punt. They recover it though. The 1st and 10 Texans from the 32. 14:52 to play in the half. 10-0 Texans. So almost, but no cigar. Come on, defense. Can you get a stop? Can you get a stop? Can you get a quick 3 and out and get the hell off the field? Rather than just overall a stop, if they'd get a couple first downs. Stop the run first off, yeah. 3 yards up the middle and they finally bring them down. Some pushing and shoving. DeMarvin Leal saying, I'm coming to get you, Kendrick Green. You're going to fucking pay. Know what made them think Kendrick Green was a good player. Because he just wasn't. And then they cut ties with him, and thank fucking God. Because he fucking sucked. He even said he's glad to be out of Pittsburgh. Well, we're glad you're gone, buddy. Empty set. And Stroud down the middle, caught first downs. Dalton Schultz, former Cowboy, into Steeler territory, down 35. So they're getting the tight ends involved. Why can't Pittsburgh? Jesus Christ. Come on, defense. Handoff, Pierce. First down run for 12 yards. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Just pathetic. Just absolutely pathetic. First and 10. And they'll hand off again out of the eye. And another couple yards. Keanu Benton gets rolled over, it looked like. Hopefully he's okay. They're already short up front in the middle. Here's an update. Dolphins-Bills tied at 14. Early second quarter. CJ Stroud rolls out near side, and then it'll be incomplete inside the 5 on the rollout. Pittsburgh almost jumped off sides. It's getting chippy. These front lines, the offense and defensive line, they're trash talking to each other. I mean, I think somebody's mouthpiece came out and was laying on the field, and Houston saw it right by the ball, and they picked it up and threw it right at the Steelers. Defense, and Pittsburgh's throwing it right back to him right now. So, personal to business. 3rd and 5 from the 20 for the Texans. Another empty set here. They get it off, and then Stroud's pass incomplete. So, okay, Pittsburgh gave up a touchdown. Really, I mean, they were so close to holding them for a field goal. But it was a touchdown to begin the game on the opening drive. And then they just forced a kick. They're forcing another one. So really, I mean, yeah, you're looking at 10-0 right now. 13-0 if he makes this one. He's already good from 36. This will be from about 37. 38. kicks up and good. So the Texans lead the Steelers now 13-0 with 12:09 to play in the half. When really, circle back around. I mean, from the opening touchdown, force a kick there. Because remember, it was a touchdown. They took it off the board. Houston backed up because of penalties, but then they got a penalty a little bit closer, and then they ended up scoring. You force a kick there. You force a couple other kicks. I mean, yeah, they're giving up points, but as you're down 13-0, I mean, it's truly like 9-0, but it's still 13-0 because of the touchdown, 2 field goals. Just offensively, they're starting to make stops defensively, but it's offensively, they got to make some fucking plays. They got to move the ball and get a couple first downs. They've done the opening drive. Of course, not turn the ball over, and it starts up front of the running game. Pickett's going to have to make some plays. Can't turn the ball over either, might add, as he did. They got 3 points off that, so then they don't get the field goal off of the turnover. They get the field goal there after the last Steeler punt. You're looking at 10-0 then. So the difference is the 3 points off of a Steeler turnover on the opening drive, and then they go 3 and out. So we'll see if the third drive here coming up next is going to be the charm or not. But yeah, they got to move the ball. If they can move the ball, like, defense starting to make stops, but they are gassed, it seems like, compared to Houston's, because, well, hell, they really haven't been on the field. Pittsburgh's, defense has been out there for the most part the whole entire game because, Houston's controlling the clock. So, yeah, it starts up front. They got to be able to run the football. If they can run the ball, keep it simple, help out Pickett in that regard, then he makes some plays, this offense gets rolling, which they're capable of. It's just, with the play calling, at times, it's like, what the hell are you doing? But as coaches coach, players play, they still got to execute, So it's as much on Matt Canada as it is on the players, But then it's also circle back to the play call because it's like, what the fuck was this? It's frustrating at times. And, I mean, this is just your typical Steelers start, a slow start, get their head out of their ass, mid-second quarter here, hopefully soon. Do something before halftime, do something early third quarter, and then we have ourselves a ball game coming down in the fourth quarter, as it always plays out. That's just the way it is. Like I was just saying a little bit ago, I already have a feeling, this game, and this was before the 2 field goals after the touchdown, that, okay, this game's going to come down the wire. If the defense can make some stops. So give a touchdown, 2 field goals. It's just his offense got to make some plays. They can't turn the ball over either. So Houston kicks off. And, maybe in the return game, get a good return. Get some good field position from the goal line. And get about 20, maybe 25 yards. 1st and 10, Pittsburgh. So, can they get a first down? Can they move the ball more than the 3 yards they had on the last drive before the punt? Can they not turn the ball over? Can they, first off, run the football? If you can do that and run to throw, or vice versa, if you're throwing to run, you got to keep the defense off balance. I didn't mind the shot. It's just, it was in a double coverage and ended up getting picked off. 1st and 10 from the 21. Pickett looking to throw, dump off on a screen to Freiermuth, and he loses 6 yards back to the 15. Jesus Christ. Like, you can't abandon the run. That's the thing. You got to keep trying to run the football, because if you're one-dimensional, the defense knows exactly what the fuck you're going to do, and then they're going to stop you. Like, you got to be balanced. You got to be consistent. You got to at least get a couple yards. Can you move the football? 2nd and 16. Trips in a bunch top of your screen. Pittsburgh right to left now in the second quarter. Pickett looking to throw again, far side, and it'll be caught. Allen Robinson. Okay, you get to 6 yards back on the loss, +2, so make it 3rd and 8. But, I mean, shit, just... Can you work something over the middle? Maybe go to your tight ends here. You have 3 of them, for God's sakes, and all 3 of them have, like, a handful of catches and 1 touchdown on the year. All Pat Freiermuth. Nothing Darnell Washington, nothing Connor Hayward yet this year. Freiermuth, in the meantime, speak the devil in motion. Freiermuth, as Pickett looked his way, was going to be the intended target, but then he came back the middle. So they do go to the middle field. Pickens, but then, I mean, that's probably a good no call. Falls incomplete. Lucky they, didn't pick it off because it was deflected. And ball seemed like it was falling from the sky forever, and then it finally dropped. So Pittsburgh on to punt again, another fucking 3 and out. And then Houston will let it bounce on the punt. Be 1st and 10 Texans from 32, 33 yard line again. So 1st and 10 Texans up 13-0 with 10:37 to play in this first half. See if defense can make a fucking stop, because then if not, and they're down 16-20-0, going into halftime, or if they do something right before half, get the ball back to begin the second half. I mean, just they're not in a good spot. They're not. They need to make a fucking play. They need something to go their way. If they can get a stop, if they can get the hell off the field, because that's the thing. Like, Houston's controlled the clock. Like, they've been out there. Just frustrating that they can't do anything. Like, they're playing the game too, and you're giving up all this shit to your opponent, yet you can't do anything. It's pathetic. I don't know how they can, think it's, okay. Because it's not. It flat out ain't. And this ain't once again Steelers football. It's like they're playing like a bunch of fucking third graders, as the saying goes. Like, we ain't playing Pee Wee football. This is the NFL. Like, they need to make a few stops. Like, they're gonna have to rely on this defense to fucking win them the game today, it seems like. But what's new? Just frustrating as all hell. That's all it is. And until they do something, that's just going to be the way it is. So, is what it is. What else is there to say? Be 1st and 10 Texans there after the Steeler punt. So yeah, from the 33, I mean, they've started good average field position, 25, 30 yard line, give or take. Levi Wallace on the coverage, and Collins makes the catch somehow, some way. Jesus Christ. 1st down, Houston. Pittsburgh needs fucking like Walker, Texas Ranger to come play for him or something like that to make some fucking stops. I mean, come on. This is fucking pathetic. From the 48, 1st and 10. And a screen. Goes for a 1st down. They're holding every fucking play up front, too, and they're not calling it. Which is a little bit surprising, because at least every once in a while they throw 1 or 2 of them. But, I mean, they have died down in flags from earlier. They calling them on every play. Now it's like, well, all right, they're letting them play nothing. But still, the penalty, call it. If it's not, don't. They got to make some stops, though, man. Stroud will hand off. And Devin Singletary for another yard or two. Like, Houston's done a good job of protecting CJ Stroud. Like, the pressure ain't there for the Steelers. And then even if it is, then the Texans run a screen game, and then it's in their favor, and it's working out, and they're moving the ball when Pittsburgh ain't. 2nd and 8. Schultz on the reception, more missed tackles, and they finally wrap him up. Looks like he'll be short though, 3rd and a yard. But guess what? They're in field goal range. So they're already down 2 scores. So they'll be down a little bit more here if they give it up. Come on, defense. 3rd and a yard. And they'll sneak it. No, he did not get it. Fumble, ball's out. Pittsburgh has it, but he was going to be down there. Yeah, 4th down. He didn't get it. See if they go for it, though. Maybe sneak it again. Maybe try to catch him off guard. Get him to jump off sides. And then they kick it. Offense is going to stay out there for the time being. They're going to go for it. At least line up. Probably drain this play clock a little bit. Get up there, and I don't think they're going to snap it, though. 4, 3, 2, 1. Timeout. Yeah. All right. So we'll see if they still end up going for it here or not after the timeout, or end up just kicking the field goal, and then it's 16-0 versus the 20-0 if they give them a touchdown. But right now it's 13-0, 7:09 to play in the first half here. And the offense going back out to go for it again. Yeah, that's the stat right now. I mean, Houston's controlled the clock. They've been out on the field more than Pittsburgh has. And that's, credit to them keeping it simple, and the defense, they can't make stops. And the offense hasn't done shit. So what's new? 4th and a yard. Houston's going to line up to go for it here again. Motion. Sneak it again. Maybe a fullback dive. Fake the run. And then it's incomplete. He short-hopped it, so they luck out. They get off the field. Turnover on downs. They got to capitalize off of it. They got 7:05 to play, 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning to drive and get some points here before halftime. Plus, then they get the ball to begin the second half. So 1 4th down that they don't get might work in Pittsburgh's favor if they can do something with it. Now, if they can't, then that's their own problem, and this is what it is at that point. They're just going to have to make some more stops later, but do something here eventually. I mean, 13-0, 7:05 to play in the half. Once again, 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning. They should be able to do something. Get some points. I'll take a field goal. For sure, take a touchdown, but can you move the ball? Can you get at least first down? Like, they got 2 first downs on the opening drive through the interception. I mean, who knows what would have happened if they didn't turn the ball over, but then 2, 3 and out since. Like, they really haven't had the ball. But even when they had the ball, they haven't done much. So I guess that black and gold from last weekend on the whiteouts wearing off on the Steelers on the road today, down in Houston against a team that was formerly coached by a former Penn State head coach. But yeah, just frustrating. And they, can't do anything. But they do get off the field there. I'll take it for what it's worth. They get a first down. Gotta get some points. Just do something. We're at that meme right now, poking the stick. Come on, do something. We are. Because they just flat out haven't, but maybe it's the spark they need right there with a turnover on downs and get a drive going and score here before halftime. Work the clock, yourself as they have, and score and put the pressure on them, not yourself. Like quit shooting yourselves in the foot. And then once again, they get the ball to begin the second half. So right then and there might be looking back on it later where the game's going to change and going to completely switch. So we'll see. But first and 10 Steelers after the turn rundowns by the Texans, 13-0 with 7:05 to play in the half. And they got lucky, honestly, because he just threw a bad ball. He short hopped it. If he would have threw it high rather than low, the guy probably would have caught it. It would be a first down. Their drive continues. So first and 10 Steelers. And pick it out of the gun will hand off to Naj. And 22 gets 3, maybe 4 yards. Second down. Oh, and he had a guy wide open on a post deeper on the far side, too, if he hit him. That would have been a touchdown. So Pittsburgh really did luck out there on that fourth down that Houston did not convert. Handoff Najee Harris again. Hey, they get a first down. Can they keep it up, though? Can they keep it moving? Got to go to these tight ends. Najee going to motion back into the backfield. First and 10 Steelers from the 39. And looking to throws, Pickett. Kenny rolls out and throws it out of bounds, incomplete. Hit the chain gang for an incompletion, second and 10. They get set, got 5 seconds on the play clock, though. And they run a screen themselves. Jalen Warren, that's a fucking face mask. Where's the flag for that? Are you going to not call any penalties now? Have you called a penalty on everything early? It's a face mask. 3rd and 8 after a couple yard gain. Oh my God. How many more missed calls are you not going to call? Jesus Christ. Third and 8 for Pittsburgh. Can they convert? Probably not, but we'll see. They need midfield. Pickett looking to throw. Another screen, Jalen Warren. And he's short. Jesus Christ. 4th and 2. Yeah, I don't know. Shit. Yeah, they got a decision to make. I don't know if you'd want to go for it, because then if you don't get it, like you're giving them a short field, you're already down 2 scores. So it's probably a smart decision to punt. They need a spark, though. Brad Wing getting workload, first game back in the NFL in quite a while. They can't even fucking down it inside the 5 either. So 1st and 10 Texans from the 20, up 13-0. So I was gonna say, okay, maybe catch them off guard with a fake punt, but no, they boom it away. And he's already had 3 punts. Let alone they've had 3 total first downs today. They trail by 13. They can't even, take any time off the clock either. I mean, something's got to give. They got to get something, in their favor. But to this point, no, nothing yet. It's frustrating. Just very frustrating. Jesus Christ. Washington's up 14-7 on Philadelphia too, by the way. My bad. Of course, coming up at halftime, we'll have first half stats and scores. For what it's worth for the Steelers, there's not really much right now to be said because they really haven't done much. And then, of course, we'll take a look around the league as well, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, they can get something going their way. Hopefully, they can get themselves back into this game, because if not, and then you get into the second half, and then they can continue to control the clock. Game's going to be over before you know it, and they're not going to have a chance. They're just not. They're going to be, as they already are in a bad spot, they're going to be even worse off than they are right now. They'll be moving on the next week before you know it if they don't do something here. Just the Texans have been one of the worst teams in the league the past couple years. They're getting better. They're beating you today, where credit's due, but I don't get how you can not do anything on offense and then not make any stops on defense and then whistle, false start, expect to have a chance to win. Because you're just not. This game's similar to the San Francisco game week 1. And as I said at the start, you would think Houston's game plan is going to be, similar to what that was. Because that's what's worked against the Steelers thus far. So, take note to all the other teams too. If you can run the football and then, stop the run, you're going to be in a good spot to beat Pittsburgh. Because once they get one-dimensional, they can't do shit. And rightfully so, because you shouldn't be able to do anything in football one-dimensionally. Unless, you have a damn good quarterback or a damn good running back. So, that's the thing with special teams. If they can, get a good return, get some good field position, they're giving their first down on the pass, hulk them from behind on the tackle at the 40-yard line. And they have 3 and change here timeout plus a 2-minute warning to add on to their lead before halftime. Put Pittsburgh in an even bigger hole. And then what makes you think that the Steelers are going to do anything then in the second half when they haven't done anything here in the first half? I get a tale of two halves. You play different, before or after halftime, but all the quarters, but still, they just haven't done anything. 1st and 10 from the 40. And no gain on the play. Landon Roberts once again on the tackle. 2nd down and 10. Come on, defense.
I felt like if they were able to come in here and protect, that was number one. If you can protect up front, there are some holes in that back seven when they play zone coverage.
From the 40, 2nd and 10. And a handoff, and he hurdles a man before getting pushed down. So 3rd and 5.
Nicely done.
He's had to deal with non-stack boxes early in the season, but that kid was so dynamic, one of the top rookie runners in the league a year ago. He was fourth for the NFL among rookies in scoring.
Can you get off the field? Can you force them to punt for the first time today? As we near the 2-minute warning, Stroud's pass, incomplete near side. No, there's no flag on that. 4th down, the Texans will punt with 2:06 to play in the half. So the Steelers get the hell off the field on defense again. So, all right, they're getting better defensively. Give up a touchdown, give up 2 field goals. Here's the punt. Watch for a fake, though, let alone don't jump off sides. 4th and 5, you get a first down. You know, they can run the clock out on you final 2 minutes here and potentially score again before halftime. But you're going to get the ball back here, 3 timeouts, under 2 minutes now after this punt, to do something yourself, to cut this lead. So I'd hope you can move the football. As Houston booms it away, we'll see what the official time is going to be, because it'll take a bounce, and then Pittsburgh Fields is about the 15. Buck 57 officially for the 2-minute warning. Be 1st and 10 Steelers, down 13-0 at the Texans. They have 3 timeouts though, okay? And you have the sideline. It's your friend. Use it in the situation. Tell out of bounds if you need to. Just don't turn the ball over. Just get a drive going. Drive and score some points before halftime. And then, you know, hope to do something early 3rd quarter then too, and then it's a whole new ball game. Defense is getting better. They are. I'll give them that. They're getting off the field. They're making more stops. But this offense now has to get going. They got to sync up and they got to click. So, too sweet. But really nothing sweet about a 13-0, you know, deficit as we near halftime. Especially on the road. So we'll see if they can do anything here or not, because if not, it's just going to get worse. Even if they don't do anything and you still don't do anything, it's just going to stay the way it is, you know, and then the time's just not going to be on your side. That's why you got to do at least something. They're trying. Houston's making plays defensively. Play calling offensively, though, can be better. Just minute 57, 3 timeouts. You should be able to drive and score before halftime. You should be able to at least get a field goal. So we'll see if they can or not. I mean, I don't know. We got another London game next week. Bills, Jags. Yeah, so is Jacksonville staying over in London then? Because they were there today? There's the Watts. JJ getting drafted. Now he's getting his number retired. TJ really hasn't done anything today. He hasn't. Because Houston up front's done a good job protecting and, you know, not allowing any pressure. So 1st and 10 Steelers from the 15-yard line. 3 timeouts and a buck 57 to play before halftime. See if they can move the ball. Pickett's pass caught by Pickens at the 20. 2nd down. Pickett once again looking to throw near side. Incomplete, intended for Austin. So third down. Good God. Can you get a first down? Because, yeah, if you don't, whether you run it here, throw it, they still have a timeout. Get the ball back with some time for themselves to potentially do something again. Just Pickett looking to throw again. Back shoulder. It's picked off. There's a flag on the play, though. That was intended for George Pickens. We'll see what the dirty laundry is. It's going to be a pass interference on somebody. Yeah, that's a DPI. And then he toe tapped it on the bobble deflection and picked it off. But a pass interference, be a spot foul, automatic first down for the Steelers. All right, take it, use it to your advantage, continue this drive, and score some points, why don't you? I mean, come on now. You still got 3 timeouts and a $128. A little bit better field now, you know, after the initial 5-yard gain, incompletion, but then you get the penalty, and now you're 1st and 10 on the spot foul. Ball going to be, what, around the 40? 35-yard line. 1st and 10. Pickett looking to throw, complete the Warren on a screen, and he gets out of bounds. And he's still running, trying to catch himself, maintain balance. Gets another 5 yards, though, so 2nd and 5 coming up. Steelers were last shut out the day after Christmas 2 years ago at Kansas City. Which, yeah, they lost that game, and then they went to Kansas City a few weeks later in the playoffs and lost that game as well. And Ben Roethlisberger's final NFL game. 2nd and 5, Kenny Pickett looking to throw. He gets sacked. 3rd and 10. Jesus Christ. Steelers call timeout, minute 19 to play. Take a split screen commercial. Get back to the action shortly, but it's 3rd and 10. Remember, the Texans still have a timeout. They stop them. But, I mean, shit. What do you want to draw up here on 3rd and 10? Watch them run a fucking draw and then punt. I'm telling you, down the middle of the field are your tight ends. Maybe take a shot. I mean, they went deep earlier, got picked off, but maybe take a shot. I mean, where the hell is Allen Robinson at? You know, they've gone to Pickens, they've gone to Austin. A-Rob's nowhere to be found. They don't go to these other tight ends other than Freiermuth anyway. I mean, 3rd and 9, they say officially. Come on, let's go. An empty set from the 36 after the sack. Well, they fucking jumped off sides. Where's that flag? And then Pickett rolls out. It's incomplete. Intended for Connor Hayward. There's the flag on the play. All right, thank you. And 5 yards. They'll replay it down. It'll be 3rd and 4. So it's going to change the play call from what they just ran on a comeback on a 3rd and 9 to a 3rd and 4. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they run another fucking screen. I want it, just knowing them. Any other time they would have blew that dead. They let it run and then, you know, it's incomplete. But 3rd and 4 for the Steelers from the 41 after the penalty. Minute 15, 2 timeouts. Pickett once again looking to throw. Tuck it and run. He's going to throw, complete Pickens, out past midfield, 1st down. Clock will roll. Now there's a flag on the play, so clock stops. Jesus Christ. Pass interference on the Steelers. Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus Christ. 3rd and 14 now. And Tomlin's reaction says it all. They can't catch a fucking break.
There's really contact by both players, so
My God. So the first down's off the board. Replay down, 3rd and 14.
call on the offense or the defense. But the Steelers just, they can't buy a break. 3rd and 15. And up front, Houston's defensive line is really, they've been really enjoying some good pressure today against
Pickett looking to throw. And gets rid of it, Freiermuth. But he's going to be short. 4th and 5. So Houston with their timeout. 55 seconds and counting. Do they call it? They will with 53. Pittsburgh to punt. Good God. Good fucking God. Jesus Christ. I don't know what to say. I don't. Just, it's pathetic. They can't do anything right. They can't catch a break. Just, this defense is going to have to make stops for them.
It's not perfect. They still make mistakes, but they're getting closer. And really, when you watch that play, they're playing fast. They're playing aggressive. And now they make a mistake here or there. But they're getting more.
So Pittsburgh's on the punt.
Each and every week.
Houston almost had a muff punt, and then Steelers almost down him inside the 5. Here's a return from the 10. And then they finally bring him down to 22. Houston's got 41 seconds and no timeouts and a 1st and 10 up 13 to see if they can do something before halftime. Remember, Pittsburgh can get the ball back at the beginning of the second half, but they haven't done shit this first half, so I don't know what the hell they're going to do in the second half other than, come back out. Just frustrating. I don't know how they can think they're playing good football, because they're not. They're playing like a bunch of fucking 3rd graders.
He's done what he's shown all season, throwing with tremendous accuracy. You hear that? Did you hear that phrase, a catchable ball? He throws a beautiful catchable ball, one that probably I could even catch.
From the 22, Stroud all day to throw. Complete, more missed tackles, out past midfield, more missed tackles. One play into Steeler territory down at the 35-yard line. Jesus Christ. And now they're going to clock it because they don't have any timeouts. 20 seconds to go, 21 seconds to go. 1st and 10, Texans at the 36-yard line. Yeah, from the 22 to the 30s, 8, another 20s, 28, another 14. Yeah, 42, 43-yard play right there. After just missed tackle after missed tackle after missed tackle. Good God, defense. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. Good God. 2nd and 10 after they clocked it on the spike. Ball 36-yard line. Texans on a bubble screen far side. More missed tackles, and then he's finally brought down to 21. Clock's going to continue to roll. They're going to have to clock it again, but guess what? They're in field goal range. So they'll spike it with 4 seconds and kick a field goal here after 2 big plays because the Steelers can't tackle anybody. Good God. Jesus Christ. To end the half from 39 yards on the field goal. Fairbairn's good from 36 and 38 already. Plus they scored to begin the game. Steelers with a timeout, maybe to ice them? No. 39-yarder is up and good. So at halftime, even though the Steelers are going to get the ball back to begin the second half, the Texans lead the black and gold 16-0. I mean, it could be a hell of a lot worse. I will say that. It could be, 4 scores, and, last time they played in Houston was almost 7 years ago. They won that game on Christmas, though. They beat them a couple years ago at home during COVID. But the touchdown to 3 field goals, yeah, it could be a hell of a lot more than it is. Probably should be, you think about it, 2 field goals less, though. If they didn't turn the ball over and they knew how to fucking tackle. Because that interception led to 3 points. And then that last drive there, 2 big plays because they don't know how to tackle, another field goal. You take those 6 points off the board, okay, I'll give them the touchdown, give them their other field goal they have. It's really 10-0 when it's 16-0, but at a max, it probably should be, anywhere from 16 to 20, 21, 24, 28-0 Texans on top of Steelers right now. So Pittsburgh's playing like jack shit. Just pathetic. They need to get their head out of their ass and play football unless they're going to lose this game. Then they got the Ravens coming in next week. Then the bye week. Then they go to LA, who's currently beating Indy right now pretty good. So here's the thing. It's not going to get any easier. It's the NFL. I don't care what week it is or who you play. It's going to be a tough game. Whether, you're good or bad, it's going to be a tough game. They're playing like dog shit. They are. Just, I don't know how they can think they're playing good because they're not. And like I said, Tomlin's reaction there a second ago off after that pass interference says it all. They haven't done shit. They can't catch a break. They can't run the football. They can't stop the run. Hell, they can't even get a first down hardly. They have a couple of them, but not many. They just can't move the ball. And then the defense can't tackle. They're not making stops. They forced only 1 punt that first half. Gave up the touchdown plus 3 field goals, but it take a grain of salt. Yeah, it could be a hell of a lot worse than it is. So they're sort of lucky to be in the spot they're in, even though they're still playing crap. It's just absolutely pathetic because this ain't Pittsburgh Steelers football. They need to get their head out of their ass and play. So if they, do something early third quarter, because they'll get the ball to begin the second half, cut the lead, 16s, 2 touchdowns, and 2 2-point attempts, that would be successful and good to tie it if they can make stops. Let alone, you're really down 2.5 scores. So you need to score at least, 3 times to take a lead, whether that's a combination of a field goal, a touchdown, and another touchdown, to take a 1-point lead. Defense makes a stop play. That's the thing. Houston's done a good job up front protecting C.J. Stroud. They haven't been able to get any pressure to him. I mean, no sacks in the first half. They've only hit him maybe once or twice. And guess what? When he did, both balls were incomplete. One on the 4th down, and then they had the other punt. So they did stop him a couple times, but the opening drive they scored, the 3 field goals, which really could be 4 field goals. You look at it that way too. It could be 12-0, let alone anything less than that, because they had the touchdown. They overturned it. They went backwards, but then they ended up scoring afterwards anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. But they need to get pressure. But then just as they get the pressure, and then Houston with the play callings better than Pittsburgh's offense, who would have guessed that? I'm sure Matt Canada didn't, because he thinks he's the best fucking offense coordinator, on God's green earth, for God's sakes, and all time ever, in history, when he's not. I mean, they can't even move the ball more than 5-8 yards. They have 5 first downs, if that. Look at the stats here in a minute, but just as, they bring pressure, Houston's running the screen game. And then they can't fucking tackle. They can't do a damn thing right. They can't. It's pathetic. They're playing like a bunch of fucking third graders. And they're playing like complete dog shit. Plain and simple, end of story. That's all to be said about it. So I'll shut the hell up. We'll update some stats here. Take a look around the league. Like I said, we're also watching Washington, Philadelphia. As you know, most all these 1 o'clock games are either halftime or now early third quarter, as it's about 2:30 here on the East Coast. We've already had 2 games go final this week for in the NFL. As mentioned on Thursday, the Lions beat the Packers, and then earlier today across pond in London from Wembley Stadium, or in Andy's room for Toy Story, the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Atlanta Falcons. But here's the halftime report. They'll show some highlights. So just Pittsburgh's got to do fucking something. They need a spark, is what they need. And it starts up front. They got to be able to run the football and stop the run. Dolphins, Bills. It was 14-14, but then Buffalo's scored a few more times. They lead 31-14 at halftime. So Miami ain't scoring 70 today, that's for sure. And more missed tackles. I mean, wrap them up, for God's sakes. I mean, it's football. You don't know how to tackle? It's not flag football, it's tackle football. Ravens, Browns. Baltimore's beating up on Cleveland 21-3. You know, Pittsburgh was beating Cleveland, then losing to Cleveland, and they came back and won against the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football a couple weeks ago. Pittsburgh, of course, hosts Baltimore next week. Here's the fucking Steelers-Texans highlights. There's not going to be anything for the Steelers. It's going to be all Texans because they lead 16-0 at the half. Just pathetic. Bengals, Titans. It is 24-3 Tennessee. So Cincinnati ain't looking great. Falcons, Jags from earlier. That was 9:30 this morning. Across the pond. And that looks to be it. No, Rams, Colts as well. Who Pittsburgh plays both teams later on this year. It's 20-0 LA. Early third quarter. There's the Washington Philadelphia game that we've been watching as well. Yeah, 14-7 now, make it 17-10 at the half. And then Bucks and Saints down south, low scoring. Now they scored again, so 14-3. And Vikings, Panthers, 13-7 Carolina, early third quarter as well. About a 100-yard pick six in that game. Sit down. Broncos, Bears, somebody's going to win unless they tie. Chicago's beating up on Denver 21-7. Wow, that's a little bit of a surprise. And then games still to come later on tonight. We'll have the Raiders and Chargers, the Patriots and Cowboys, the Cardinals and 49ers. Sunday Night Football is Chiefs, Jets. And then Monday Night Football tomorrow night, Seahawks, Giants. Next week in the NFL, week 5, begin on Thursday night. We'll have another London game with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Buffalo Bills. But Bears, Skins, the Washington football team, the Commanders, will host the Bears on Thursday Night Football. Yeah, Jags, Bills next Sunday morning. Texans will be in Atlanta, take on the Falcons. Panthers, Lions. Titans, Colts. Giants, Dolphins. Saints, Patriots. Pittsburgh hosting Baltimore next Sunday at 1 o'clock, so be sure to tune in live right here on YouTube for those live watch-along reactions. Eagles, Rams should be a good game. Bengals, Cardinals. You got the Jets and Broncos. Chiefs, Vikings, along with Cowboys, 49ers. For Sunday Night Football next Monday night is officially Packers, Raiders, and the bye weeks also begin next week as well, as we'll have the Browns, Chargers, Seahawks, and Buccaneers off. So that's where we sit right now. At halftime, though, Steelers, Texans. It is 16-0. Houston. Once again, Pittsburgh really hasn't done anything. They need to do something though if they want to come back and make this a ball game, let alone have a chance to win. That's just a given. So they got to get to C.J. Stroud. They got to stop the run. If they can do that to start off with, they need a spark. They need something to go their way. The offense to make a play or two. I think they'll be all right, but it's just going to take some time. They need something to go their way. They can't catch a break. Because at the half, Pittsburgh as a team, they have officially to Houston's 271 total yards. Pittsburgh only has Kendrick Green's old number, as he's now in Houston as a Texan. They traded him after the preseason, cutting ties after he sucked. He ain't looking half bad today, because the line for the Texans is blocking Pittsburgh's, D-line pretty good. But Pittsburgh as a team only has 53 total yards on 24 total plays. So doesn't average out that well. You need 10 yards for a first down. They're getting maybe 2, 3, 4 yards, if that. They total have 4 first downs to the Texans 15. Of course, the one turnover went to 3 points. The other field goal was because they couldn't tackle before halftime. So, like I said, you take those points off the board, you're looking at like 10-0 to have a touchdown or field goal. But then that touchdown very well could have been a field goal drive. And then you have a field goal. So, 3, 6, 9, 12, 10 maybe. 16-0. It could be a hell of a lot worse though. So they're lucky to be in the spot they are in. They still got to do something offensively because, like I said, 4 first downs, only 53 total yards. They really haven't had the ball a hell of a lot though either. Texans 18 minutes to the Steelers 11. 18:56 officially 11:04. The refs throwing penalty after penalty early, then they let them play, and then more penalties, towards the end of the first half. 7 total, 5 to the Texans, but they're missing a ton of penalties. There's been a ton of holds, there's been face masks, and they're just letting it slide, acting as if they didn't see it. So, if the refs can make up some calls, and then they go in Pittsburgh's way, start there too with a spark, have it go in your favor, maybe you'll be all right. But they got to run the football and they got to stop the run. They got to get to C.J. Stroud. They got to wreak havoc, create turnover, capitalize off turnover. Special teams as well. Hell, they're getting the ball to begin the second half here. Maybe get some good field position and work with that. Kenny Pickett, 9 of 14, 35 yards, been sacked twice, has the interception, led 3 points. Najee Harris, 5 carries, 16 yards. Kenny Pickett, 2 of 9, and Calvin Austin on a 5-yard end around. So Jalen Warren, as he hasn't ran the ball, he's caught it 4 times for 16 yards, and that leads the team. Pretty pathetic when your backup running back is currently leading the team in receiving at halftime. Allen Robinson, a catch for 8 yards. Pickens, 2 of 8. Pat Fryerman, 2 of 3. Austin's been targeted a couple times with no catches. Minka's right now leading the team in total tackles with 8. Really haven't said T.J. Watt's name. They've gotten pressure on a couple times, so they haven't been able to wrap him up. And then as they, get to him though, then Houston's running the screen game, and then they can't tackle. So C.J. Stroud, 10 of 20, $179 touchdown. Damian Pierce, 61 yards on 14 carries. And Stroud has 3 for 15 as well. Nico Collins, 4 catches, 78 yards and a touchdown. Schultz, 2 of 36. Pierce, a catch for 27. Mechie, a catch for 22. Then Singletary, the former Bill, 1 catch, 11 yards. So Pittsburgh, they got to stop shooting themselves in the foot and stop the run. Well, no shit. So we'll see if they can do that or not. Because if they can, they'll have a chance. If not, this game's going to be over before too long. Because even if you don't do anything, you're down, and then Houston still doesn't do anything, you're still down. That's what you got to do, something, make it interesting, cut this lead, get to them. If they continue to score on you, then okay, so be it. You're just getting flat out beat. But if you start doing stuff, making stops, making plays, and then, you get yourself back in the game, and, you work from that. Like, Texans kick off, we'll see what happens, but we'll have a touchback. 1st and 10 Steelers from 25 to begin the second half here. So, interception, punt, 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 punt. I don't know how many times I said punt, but that's probably how many times they'll end up punting today, because they've already punted 4 times on about 3 or 5 play drives for about 2 minutes, if that. Like, they haven't been able to move the ball, so they, the time possession, haven't had the ball, that long. And Houston, vice versa, has been able to flip it. And, their scoring drives are, as Najee Harris breaks a few tackles and gets a big 15-yard first down run for the Steelers. All right. 1st and 10, about 42-yard line. We'll see where they spot the ball. They got a couple more yards after initial contact. Houston, they've, their scoring drives have been 10 plays, taking up some time. Pittsburgh, it's like, 3-5 plays, couple minutes, and then they punt. So 1st and 10 after the 15-yard run, ball at the 40. And Pickett will hand off Najee Harris again. So 4 yards for him. They're going to run the football until they drop. Hopefully some points on the scoreboard. Just, like I was saying earlier, you can't abandon the run. You got to stick with it. You got to run some play action. They'll run a draw. Najee Harris going to keep moving forward, but they stuff them. No gain. Excuse me. They got to get these tight ends involved, though. Down the middle of the field, they do. I mean, it's just... once again, I don't get how they can think they can, be good if they're not, doing anything. 3rd and 7 here, a minute and a half into the second half. Freiermuth in motion. And Pickett looking to throw, and that'll be caught near side. All right. Calvin Austin with a nice grab at the 45-yard line. They'll move the sticks. Now, once again, can you keep it moving? You can't do 1 or 2, little things here and then that be it. You got to keep it going. That's a, part of a drive. You got to, move forward. You just can't stand still. And this is now going to be the first play in Texan territory for the Steelers today. We're early 3rd quarter, folks. Pickett, bubble screen far side, complete Austin again, and 4 yards for him. Jesus Christ. 2nd and 6, get a first down, move the sticks. Get back to the run game here before too long. Maybe take a shot and go deep again. You just can't turn the ball over, let alone, like I was saying, abandon the run down. Like, you got to, maintain your balance. From the 41, 2nd and 6. And Pickett will hand off. Jalen Warren bulldozing his way inside the 30, down at the 22. And just there he goes. Jalen Warren hit the hole and went. That might be their best play of the game thus far. He's used to playing in Texas on the road. He played at Oklahoma State in the Big 12. Good block. And then 1st and 10 Steelers now. Ball fish at the 23. They got to get points on this drive. Hand off Najee Harris up the middle. 4 yards for him to the 19. I'll take a field goal. I would love, I know they would too, a touchdown to cut this lead. I don't know if you don't want to go for 2 just yet, but because then you're just going to have to make stops defensively. You just can't, you're going to have to get the ball back. You can't let them go on, a long drive, because then the clock's just going to run out on you, later on. And you're going to be, screwed. 2nd and 6 from the 19. They're in the red zone for the first time today. Down 16-0, 10:58 and counting to play in the third quarter. Out of the pistol, Kenny Pickett will hand off Najee Harris. and he'll be about a yard and a half short of first down. Third down and about 1, maybe 2. Keep it going. Yeah, you got to score here. You got to score. Come on. What do you got?
Texans have been able to play zone on their third long. They've done a good job of covering their receivers. I would imagine if
3rd and 2 officially.
man look, so we're crossing over
From the 15.
the Texans defense. They're playing their safeties high, so most likely some form of zone.
Handoff Warren, and they stuff him. Well, he spins, catches himself, and they still stuff him. So 4th down, and Pittsburgh's going to have to kick a field goal. Jesus Christ. So then they're going to have to score twice if they can hold them to the 16 they have to take a lead into the 4th quarter. I mean, at least they were able to move the ball there. At least they got field goal range for Boswell here. That's going to be officially from 35, they say. Kicks up, kick is good. They have life. Give me a hell yeah, even though it's across the board and, you know, non-Pittsburgh's favor, but 3-1-6. We're in Houston. Texans lead the Steelers 16-3. Steelers are on the board. They get some points finally. So that's something to build off of now. It, you know, gives the defense a reason to make a fucking stop or two. They got to get pressure on C.J. Stroud. If they can get pressure on him, who knows, you know, how Houston will look. You know, because they just haven't. And, you know, Houston's been in rhythm. You got to throw them out of rhythm. Throw them off course. You know, make them go on a detour and go backwards, go side. Just make them punt. Make them turn the ball over. You know, put yourself in a good spot. You know, defensively, make some stops. If they can get some stops and the offense next couple drives look the way they just did, and they drive and, you know, score, you're probably only going to be able to have to settle for one more field goal if it comes down to it, because then in the 4th quarter you're going to need to score some touchdowns. You know, so we'll see if it comes down to any, you know, plays in that regard with, okay, well, decision to kick it or decision to go for it here, and then what they do, you know, we'll see from there. You know, just because from 16-3, okay, 16-6, you're still down 10. You need 2 more scores, but then if it's 16-3, you score 16-10, comes down to, you could probably kick a field goal, let alone hope to get the ball back then again late, depending on the time situation. Kick another field goal, we're 16-16, maybe we go to overtime. And this is just all if the defense can hold. You know, the defense needs to make stops and the offense got to move the ball. Like, they really can't give up any more scores, because they give another touchdown. You know, you're looking at 23-3, you're down 3 scores. When you just got a field goal for the first points of the game, early 3rd quarter here. Time ain't just going to be on your side, score 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter, just not. And then, you know, if you give a field goal, you're down 19-3, you still need 3 scores, you know, because it's to 10-17. You know, that 3rd score could be a field goal, 20-19, but then a touchdown, you know, at 24-19. Like, just looking ahead, they got to make stops and they got to continue to score points on offense. You know, that's where we're at, because if not, the game's just going to get away from them, and that'll be all she wrote. That'll be it. Touchback on the kick, 9:31 to play in this 3rd quarter. Texans 1st and 10 for the first time in the 2nd half. They now lead, rather than 16-0 as it was at halftime, 16-3, with the Steeler field goal there to begin the 2nd half. So, just now it's stop after stop after stop. So from the 25, 1st and 10, J.J. Watt joins the broadcast. C.J. Stroud will hand off to Marvin Leal on the tackle with Keanu Neal. About a 4 or 5 yard gain. Yeah, 4 officially, 2nd and 6.
Yeah, it is, and it's bittersweet. Obviously, you're back where you the place you love, you have family, you have people all around you, but also at the same time, you look out there. And
But from the 29. Come on, defense. And the slant over the middle. Ooh, almost picked off. Incomplete, almost picked off by Patrick Peterson. So 3rd and 6 coming up. J.J. Watt's not going to talk about T.J. Watt. Of course, Derek no longer a member of the Steelers at fullback. They've used Connor Hayward now as a Swiss Army knife at tight end and fullback. T.J. Watt almost gets to him, forces a throwaway. All right, 4th down. Texans going to punt. That's exactly what you needed right there. Don't tell me to flag on the play. Why the fuck are you looking around? So they finally get some pressure, force a throwaway as it was an empty set, and then he just threw it in open field. There is a flag on the play. What's that? Intentional grounding? Yep, intentional grounding. It'd be a loss of down, still 4th down anyway after the incompletion. So they'll punt. Pittsburgh can get the ball back, and now they have some momentum starting to build. It's not necessarily on their side just yet, but they're starting to, get some stuff going their way. Get a field goal on the opening drive of the second half, get a quick 3 and out on defense. Now let's see if this offense can drive and score again and get some more points. And we'll have ourselves a ball game late 3rd, early 4th quarter here, potentially. 4th and 20, and the Texans will punt from the goal line. So Pittsburgh might get some good field here. Calvin Austin from midfield on the return. They're going to start in Texan territory at the 46-yard line, 1st and 10 with 8:40 to play in the 3rd. They still trail 16-3, but game's starting to shift. They just got to keep it going their way rather than the tide to turn and go back towards Houston's way. So we'll see what the offense can do here, and we'll go from there. There's not really much else to be said right now. They just, offensively do what you just did on your last drive. Run the goddamn ball. They got to get these tight ends involved. I'm telling you, down the middle of the field. Go to Freiermuth. Go to Darnell Washington. Go to Connor Hayward. Pickens has a couple catches. Allen Robinson has a catch. Calvin Austin has a catch. But it's not for, much yardage. Like, they got to, get first downs and continue to get first downs. I get, slow and simple, keep it balanced, keep it consistent. Just be steady, Don't do, everything all at once. Take what the defense gives you. You need a foundation to build a house, okay? You need building blocks to, continue to move forward. Just get a first down. Just relax, long story short. Just move the ball. You can't go backwards, you gotta go forward. And they got good field. So I think they'll be all right. I do. Like I said, though, probably really only going to have to be able to settle for one more field goal if it comes down to it, because they'd have to score. And then you're looking at, continuing to get stops defensively. So, yeah, they're going to have to rely on this defense, but offense going to have to make some plays here too, which they drove and kicked the field goal. Now how about a touchdown? Because you're not going to score then if you do. And then it's like you score again, you take a lead. Or if you kick another field goal, you're down 3, and then maybe it comes down to, okay, kick one late to tie it. But you got to move forward, okay? And you have momentum, starting to build up and on your side. Can they keep it up? Or are they just going to let it slip and it, goes away? We're about to find out. So thanks for tuning in, as always, and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. So, be 1st and 10 Steelers from the 46-yard line. And yeah, this is no doubt about it. Pittsburgh Steelers best field position today. Pickett fakes the give and going to avoid a sack as he dumps it off to Freiermuth, who lowers the shoulder and gets 4 yards. So that's a negative play into a positive play because he probably should have been sacked. And then, lucky he had a check down to throw to. And then, because I think he wanted to go deep, I do. I don't think anybody was there, though, because they've been covering well. Yeah, he wanted somebody, I think Pickens over the middle. So at least he had a check down to throw to. 2nd and 5 after probably should have been a negative, 3 yards, 2nd and 13. You get 5 on it, 2nd and 5. Hand off Najee Harris. Now you got a 3rd and a long 3 coming up. So can they get a first down? And if not, do they go for it or do they kick a long field goal? We're about to find out. 3rd and a long 3 for the Steelers. That's fucking 3rd and 4. Freiermuth in motion in the slot. Pickett gonna roll out far side. Comes back, caught Najee Harris down. About the 20, gets up, still moving. We'll see if they, said he was ever down at all or not. Obviously not. He keeps trucking, and Pittsburgh's got a 1st and 10 about the 12-yard line, it looks like. And they got life. They're coming back. I don't know why the hell they always do this to us. They play like shit, and then, we got to play football, because if not, we're going to lose. Yeah, at least Najee was following him, and then, Pickett found him. He never stepped out. Freiermuth down injured. Hopefully he's okay. You still have Darnell Washington and Connor Hayward at tight end, though. Get them involved. If he's going to be hurt here, not playing here rest of the game or just, coming up soon here. They'll take a TV timeout in the meantime. Eagles just scored. I believe they've taken a lead now, if I'm not mistaken. But in the meantime, the Steelers, didn't look like he was down at all. Didn't step out. He kept going, and then they finally brought him down. So they'll have about 8 shots to punch it in here. You can't settle for 3 at this rate. I mean, if you have to, you have to. You got to kick. You got to take the points, but you need a touchdown. I mean, run it. Run your fucking screen game yourself. I mean, it worked for them, in the red zone. And, I mean, it's not something, you really want to do. But, if it's working in your advantage, use it. Do it. Whatever you do, don't throw a fucking fade. Got a prior guarantee, though. They get the 1 yard line, they'll probably run a fucking end around. It'll be Calvin Austin. But, shit, just... We'll see here how it plays out. But, they're in the red zone now for the 2nd consecutive drive in this second half. After they didn't even get in Texas territory at all in the first half. Field goal. Would like a touchdown now. So, like I said, if you do have to settle for 3, it's probably the last time you're going to be able to settle for 3. Because you'll still be down 10. You need, a couple of touchdowns to take a lead then. So, just... We'll see what they do. Hopefully Pat Freiermuth's okay, of course. I don't know what happened. It looked like a lower body injury. Maybe his ankle maybe got rolled up. I don't know. But just... You got to score. You got to score a touchdown. That's all there is to it now. So punch it in. Because then if you do, you're down 6. You make another stop, get the ball back, score again, whether it's a field goal, touchdown, 16-13, 17-16. Freiermuth walks off. But He goes into the locker room. In the meantime, officially 1st and goal now. Steelers at the 8 is where they mark Najee down at. So they got 4 shots. Let's punch it in, boys. Pickett looking to throw. Down the middle in the back of the end zone. It's caught and then dropped. Incomplete, intended for Pickens. Toe from Tennessee and Alabama on the coverage. George Pickens from Georgia. Had one foot and his toes down, but the other not. Ball was knocked loose anyway, and it fell incomplete, so 2nd and goal. From the 8 for the Steelers. Pickett going to hand off Najee Harris, who lowers the shoulder. Pittsburgh to the 5. They got a 3rd goal now from the 5. Oh, God. What do you do? No end around, because you're not on the 1. Don't throw a fade either. You're probably looking at a slant, to be honest with you. Or something on a throwaway. Incomplete. 4th and goal. Kick it. Take your points. Take your points. Jesus Christ. Get inside the 10-yard line, goal to go, and you can't even move more than 3 yards then. Here's Boswell. Yeah, chip shot, 23-yarder. Kicks up and good. So in the less than 10 minutes of this second half, Houston still their 16 points. Pittsburgh with 2 drives, though. Both probably should be fucking touchdown drives. They have to settle for 3 both times. So they take their points. They're on the board. They're down 10. It's 16-6 with 5 and change to go in this 3rd quarter. So the defense going to have to make some more stops for them. And then the offense going to have to score touchdowns from here on out. I mean, you might be able to settle for 1 more field goal. But I would hope, that touchdowns before having to settle for that last field goal comes down to it to tie it, then at 16 if you can hold them. And then remember, this circles all back around to, well, you look at it, really the 3-point difference on the turnover is huge right now because, you're okay with kicking it again then, and you're probably okay with kicking it again later, hoping for a touchdown late, then potentially win it, because they don't have that 3 points off a turnover early. You're looking at 13-6 right now. It's a 1-score game. A touchdown would tie it. But then the, field goal even before halftime. They couldn't tackle on you. You take that off the board. If they knee it out, if they don't go anywhere. You take another 3 points off the board. You're looking at the 10 points the Texans have then off a touchdown and a field goal early. And that touchdown really could be a field goal of its own right. So that's 6-6. That's really 10-6. If you don't turn the ball over and, you tackle before halftime. Because that's 2 field goals for an extra 6 points for them that you, right now, with the 6 points you just got coming out of the half, wouldn't like them to have. But because you turned the ball over, gave up a field goal, and then couldn't tackle and gave up a field goal, they have 6 more points than they should. It should be 10-6 right now, not 16-6. So, Tomlin's over there talking to the offensive line. Got to continue around the football. But they got to punch it in. They can't get inside the fucking red zone and not score a touchdown. They have to settle for 3. which take your points, yes. But at 16-6, it really should be 10-6, but they got more work to do, and it starts now. Special teams maybe get a turnover, defense get a stop, get the ball back, drive and score again. Touchback on the kick, 1st and 10, Texans on 25. But because you can settle for one more, you can. The thing is, you're down 7, then it's 16-9. You have to score to tie it that way. So it's either or of you'd like to score before you can kick it, rather than, field goal and then scoring, just because of the timing, late in the game, you don't know what you're going to have versus what you're not going to have. And then field position, because as long as you can get in field goal range rather than scoring, okay. So 16-6, but it starts now. They got to make some stops. But yeah, then they give up a screen pass or a slant over the middle, for a first down. So they got to make stops here defensively. They give up a field goal. They give up a touchdown. Field goal, they might still be okay, but then they have to score twice. They give up a touchdown, game might be over. Because the thing is, too, Houston's controlled the clock, so the clock for Pittsburgh ain't going to be, in their favor late in the game if they're continuing to be down. So we'll see what happens. But after a yard, 2nd and 9. Under 5 to play in this third. They run a screen. Pittsburgh's right there to wrap them up, but it falls incomplete in the meantime. That was Larry Obi-Wan Kenobi Ogunjobi. And it falls incomplete. So 3rd down and 9. Come on, defense. Highsmith gets to him and forces another throwaway. And another punt by the Texans coming up, and the Steelers are getting the ball back. That's why you got to play good defense. That's why you got to rely on special teams to kick your field goals for you. They're finally getting to them. They're finally forcing pressure. That's back-to-back incompletions on 3rd down by the Texans to punt. Steelers getting the ball back. Nothing stupid. Keep up what you've gotten, going on your side now since halftime. Punt out of bounds about the 15-yard line, maybe the 20. We'll see where they mark it. They're going to mark it at the 24. Be 1st and 10. So 16-6. Pittsburgh's getting the ball back. Depending on how much time they take up, sometime in the 4th quarter now might be on their side, just because they've gotten the hell off the field defensively. We'll see, how it shakes out. But they continue to run the football. They continue to run the football, make some plays, get some first downs. Hopefully Fryermuth's okay. He's not back out there just yet. Went in the locker room. But you got to get Connor Hayward. You got to get Darnell Washington involved. You got to get Pickens, Robinson, and Austin the football. Najee Harris, biggest run of the season thus far for him, out to the 48-yard line. Big first down run. When they move the sticks, let's keep it going. Fryermuth out for the rest of the game with a hamstring. They've been hit with the injury bug with hamstring and groin injuries so far this season. But 1st and 10 Steelers in the meantime. It's next man up mentality. You play on. You play through it. Pickett once again good handoff. Najee Harris, who sort of stumbles but then gets 2 yards. 2nd and 8. So Naj will come out. Warren in the ball game. I mean, you got a 25-yard run and begin the drive. A yard there. 2nd and 9. Let's keep it up. Keep moving the ball. Keep getting first downs. And out of the pistol, they'll work. Fake the give to Warren. Pickett going to roll out. There's Darnell Washington on the reception. He lowers the shoulder. First down, Steelers. His first NFL catch. 1st and 10. Keep it going. Keep it going. They're looking like a totally different team right now. They are. They're starting to click offensively. You just can't do anything stupid now. No penalties, no turnovers. 1st and 10. From the 42. Out of the pistol again. And now they'll run Jalen Warren. Fumble. God damn it. Pickens recovers it. So now 2nd and long. Jesus Christ. So 2nd and whatever the yardage is going to be. Get those yards back. Get yourself a 3rd and manageable. Get a 1st down. Go from there. I mean, yeah, 2nd and 18. About 2 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter. And Pickett looking to throw and roll out near side. And it'll be incomplete, intended for Naj at the 1st down marker. So now they have a 3rd and long. Just get in field goal range and kick it. Unless Houston's defense wants to be like Penn State's defense yesterday and give up a 3rd and 19 now. Or 19 yards on a 3rd and 18, excuse me. Because that happened how many times yesterday? Just get in field goal range, kick it. You're down 7 going in the 4th quarter. Defense still needs to make a stop, but then you got to score to tie it. Pickett looking to throw again. Down the middle, it's caught. Pickens, and then they're going to stuff him a yard short. God damn. Now you got a decision to make. Do you want to kick it or go for it? Are we going for it offensively, Matt? Yes. Yes, they're going to go for it. Get up there and fucking sneak it. You don't need lip readers for that. I mean, yeah, he should have cut up field rather than going to the side. 4th and a yard. Pittsburgh's going to line up to go for it here. And I call fucking timeout. God damn it. I get you want to be set, but hopefully that timeout doesn't come back to bite you in the ass. Be a 51-yarder, they say. So they're going to think about it, maybe kick it rather than, go for it. We'll see here what they do. But yeah, you could clear as day see what Tomlin was saying to Matt Canada. Hey, we going for it, Matt? And then he shook his head and letting the offense know they're going for it. Call a timeout, though, because the play clock's winding down. Looks like they're still going to line up to go for it, though. Nothing stupid. No fucking end around. I wouldn't mind a play action, but you got to execute it. But get up there and fucking sneak it. You have J.J. Watt getting his number retired. T.J. Watt on the Steeler defense. If only they still had Derek Watt, maybe run a fullback dive up the middle. But 4th and a yard, they're going to line up to go for it. Come on. Let's get a 1st down. And then if you get a 1st down, you definitely got to score on this drive. If it comes down to it, though, you still got to settle for 3, then so be it. You take the points because you need them. But 4th and a yard, they're going to go for it. Maybe try to draw them off sides, but then you'd have to burn a timeout, which you just called. Trips in a bunch near side. And they'll line up 4th and a yard out of the gun. Pickett looking to throw. Fucking, oh my God. He's going to get sacked. Jesus Christ. Fucking throw him the ball. He's wide open. And now he's hurt. Mitch Trubisky backing up. Mason Rudolph inactive, but is the 3rd string quarterback. And if it comes down to it and he needs to go in, he's allowed to. That's why he's allowed to dress. And now Pickett's limping off. God damn. Hopefully he's okay.
He starts out, he's looking to this side, over here to the right side. But they're going to see,
He had Najee open, right? The fucking marker.
so he's looking this way. But right here, he had that coming over. Again, in that situation, I don't love being in shotgun because you essentially
Yeah, it's called get up under fucking center and sneak it. And you're going to throw it on 4th and a yard, 20 yards downfield.
sequence right there. Credit you one more time for making a play.
So this defense going to have to make another stop for him. And then it circles back, well, they probably should have fucking kicked it and took the points. Minute 10 to play in the third. They're still down by 10 here. And Houston, that's a fucking hold. Jesus Christ, Minka Fitzpatrick on the tackle. Yeah, they're going to run the football and run clock. They have a lead. Flag on the play. It's coming back. Thank you. Finally throw a holding on the Texans today. About damn time. Holding. Replay the down. Make it 1st and 20. And that's on Kendrick Green, the former Steeler. Thank you. Helping us out a little bit, I see. Finally doing something for the Steelers. See the Pickett replay. Yeah, it's going to be his left ankle. Lower left leg. He got rolled up as he went down on the tackle. Hopefully he's all right. You can tell he's in pain. He's holding the outside of his knee, though. So, knee injuries are the worst. Hopefully he's okay, but 1st and 17 officially after the hold. They toss it again, run it. Get about 5-6 yards, 2nd down. Got one more play here for the end of the quarter, and then hopefully Texans have a 3rd down, and then hopefully Pittsburgh makes a stop, get the ball back, and then, you know, do something in that next drive. Sort of have to. Another field goal or, you know, touchdown, and then, yeah, it's going to come down to late in the 4th if they're going to need a touchdown to win it or a touchdown to tie it for that matter, let alone, you know, a field goal. That pass complete, 1st down Texans. And that'll do it for the 3rd quarter. So now they have momentum going in the 4th quarter, 16-6. So not going good for Pittsburgh now. They've completely let it slide. 4th down stop. Quarterback's hurt. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it seems like it's going to come down to late in the 4th. Unless they go to touchdown here, game's probably over. And the 3rd quarter, though, 16-6 Texans. That, you know, depending on what they do on their next drive, like I said, a field goal, then they need a touchdown. But then a touchdown, they need a field goal. It circles back to, okay, yeah, I don't mind going for it there. Probably should have kicked, though, with what happened afterwards. But you don't know what's going to happen, though. That's why you got to go for it every once in a while. You got to get something on your side, which they've had the momentum since halftime. Now it's starting to slip. Quarterback's hurt. Just it's life. It's football. It's just defense is going to make some stops. You know, if they can get more stops, they might be all right. But like a turnover would be, oh my God, right now, awesome. Including like a defensive score, like a pick six or a fumble scoop and score, like. Because they were finally getting pressure to him, forcing throwaways, and they punted. And then, you know, like, it's not like Pickett went down on a 2nd down. You know, they went for it on 4th and 1 when, you know, they could have kicked it, could have, you know, cut it again. Then he touchdown late to tie it. But then, you know, they go for it, and then he gets hurt on the play. You know, they don't even execute, and then, you know, like, when it's bad, seemingly, in this situation, just because, like, he goes down, they might end up losing now, as they've been losing since the start, but, like, you get my point overall the long term, and then he might be out for a few weeks, let alone, depending on how bad the injury is, the season. You know, seems like a left ankle injury might be a left knee injury. So hopefully he's okay. Pat Fryermuth went down a little bit ago, too, out with a hamstring injury. So they're just getting hit by the injury bug. They can't fucking stay healthy. But it's next man up mentality, you know. So Mitch and then Rudy, you got to do something. But start this fourth quarter 16-6. You know, this defense got to make some stops for them. They show up the box score there, quarter by quarter score. It's the thing, like, they didn't score it all in the first half. Like, if they would have, you know, at least kicked a field goal or two in the first half, let alone those 6 points once again for the Texans. You know, 3 of them are off a turnover and 3 of them are off because they couldn't tackle before halftime. You know, if not, it's 10-6 right now. You would have kicked it for sure rather than go for it, I think, on 4th and a yard. Pickett doesn't get hurt. You know, it's what if. You know, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Just is what it is, though. Because that another field goal, like, you know, could win it for you potentially if you make stops on defense. You know, but like, it's a low-scoring defensive showdown. 2nd and 6 coming up here. Pittsburgh's defense is going to make some stops here if they end up winning this game. Boom! Right up the middle was a Landon Roberts and hits Pierce. Tackle for loss. 3rd and long now. All right. Yeah, 3rd and 12 after a loss of 6. That's a big play right there. Now if they can force pressure, maybe force a throwaway, get a turnover or something, you know, might be all right. But then if Houston can get in field goal range, you know damn well they're going to fucking kick it to go up 19-6. You know, because the Steelers need 2 touchdowns then to win it, you know, in the 4th quarter. Whereas, you know, 16-6 right now, Pittsburgh only needs 10 to tie it. Still 2 touchdowns would win it, but 3rd and 12, CJ Stroud's pass caught, first down, of course. And Levi Wallace on the coverage and on the tackle. God damn it. Jesus fucking Christ. And Pickett's now going to the locker room. Get checked out as he walks off. God damn. From the 22, 1st and 10, they're just going to run it. They're going to run the ball and work clock. And if they score, this game's probably over with. It is. Handoff, Singletary for half a dozen. 2nd down. Kenny Pickett's out for the rest of the game. Mitch Trubisky starting to warm up. Emergency 3rd quarterback is Mason Rudolph. Second and 4 from the 16. Handoff. 1st down, and now they got goal to go from the 6. 12 minutes and counting to play. They're up 10. Yeah, they score again. This game's over. And out of the eye, they'll toss it. TJ Watt on the tackle after a yard. 2nd and goal. Let's roll the dice. Bring pressure here on 2nd and goal. They toss it. Halfback pass. He's wide open in the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. My God. Another 10-play, 5-minute touchdown drive for him. Steelers are flat out just getting beat once again, even though they've had their chances in the second half, late third quarter. It all went down the drain. All the momentum they had, gone. Texans extra points up and goes 23-6 now, with about 10 minutes to play. 10:50 officially to go. 23-6. So, yeah, they need to score not once, or twice. Of course, that third time could be a field goal to tie it, but time ain't just going to be on their side. It's not, because Houston's controlled the clock from the game, because they've controlled the line of scrimmage because they've been able to run the football. You know, Pittsburgh, okay, run the ball okay, but not as good as Houston. Haven't controlled the clock as much either. You know, they had how many punts after, 3 5-play drives for 2 minutes or so. You know, the injuries are piling up. You know, we'll have Mitch Trubisky coming in for Kenny Pickett, who's out for the rest of the game now with an injury. Like, they couldn't catch a break up until they did. And then they, let the momentum slip and fall. And they'll slide into the Gulf of Mexico with a loss here today, it looks like. 23-6, 10:50 to play. Yeah, it doesn't look good the rest of the way here today, let alone, for the time being into the near future. Hopefully Kenny Pickett's all right. Hopefully Trubisky can make some plays, because, looked all right last year when he played, but he turned the ball over more than, he should have. Of course, they didn't have a running game to help him out. They didn't have a running game for Pickett either when he first started. They still really don't. So what does it fucking matter? No, it does. Just, that's what quarterback's best friend is going to be, run game. But this game switched, completely changed. When Pittsburgh goes for it on 4th and a yard, they don't get it. Kenny Pickett gets hurt. All the momentum's gone they had. And the Houston Texans drive and score and extend their lead. And it's 23-6 with 10:50 to play. So Pittsburgh going to get the ball back. Yeah, you still have 3 timeouts, or 2 timeouts, so they had to burn one. 2-minute warning, but time ain't going to be on their side. Even if they do something, time ain't going to be on their side. Because then the defense, couldn't make a stop there either. Even if they gave up, a field goal there, 2 touchdowns would win it. Give a touchdown, yeah, game's over, because you need 3 scores to let alone tie it or let alone win it at that point. So, just from the goal line on the return, Desmond King to about the 28, just, yeah. One of those games, and yeah, they promote next week. They host the Ravens, so it ain't gonna get any easier. But it's just one of those games, and it's overall, is what it is. Tough shit, and you move on. You play with who you have, and they got to help them out with the running game. So here's Mitch Trubisky in at quarterback for the Black and Gold from the 28. 1st and 10. He's looking to throw far side, caught by Calvin Austin for 8 yards. So maybe they can get a drive going. Maybe they can drive and score. Maybe get a stop. I don't know. Maybe they still have a chance for all we know. Maybe we're getting too low right now in the situation. I mean, just seems like it's over with. It does. And then we'll see what happens next week. Of course, we'll await injury status, tomorrow and in the midweek. But Trubisky looking to throw again, 2nd and 2. Almost picked off, incomplete, as it was intended for Pickens. So, 3rd and 2. But just, they're in a tough spot. That's all there is to it. And they just got to play through it. We'll see here. of course, how they play the rest of the way here today, and then, as a team, what they do moving forward. Which nothing's going to change. 3rd and 2. Slant, caught, and then dropped. So 4th down, they'll punt. 10-10 to play. Yeah, this game's over now. Like, for sure over. Just, man. They were so close, yet so far away. And then of the worst, things to happen with, you have momentum on your side. You decide to go for it, which, okay, I don't mind it. Looking back on it, though, yeah, anybody would say you kicked the field goal. That's a given. But they thought they had them, and because they did, because they had the momentum on their side. They're so close once again, yet so far away, though. And then on that very play, Pickett goes down, and then the defense gives up a touchdown. So, like, that momentum's gone. And they're probably not going to get it back until next week. If even then, because they're on a bye and they head out west. Like that's what I'm saying, the schedule ain't going to get any easier. It's not. But you play with who you have, because that's why you have the 3-man roster plus a practice squad. And they obviously believe in who they have, because if not, they wouldn't have them on the fucking team. But it's still play on, and play ball. It's a tough situation they are, and a tough spot they are. It's just, they got to fight through the adversity now. They, knock on wood, hopefully Kenny Pickett ain't, severely injured. Because then it's, all right, tough loss, because they, didn't do a lot early, and then they were coming back, and then that happened. And then the momentum's gone. Like, that's where we're at. Because if he's okay, it's like, all right, you're 2-2. You lost out of, conference to the 49ers. You lose in conference, but to the AFC South. Like last year, they got swept by the East, and that's why they ended up missing out on the playoffs. Like, they're still going to have a ton of chances. It's still early. Still a lot of football to be played. It's, not over just yet. Because then, it's back to square one. You just can move on next week. You fix your mistakes, and you go from there. How the Steeler-Raven game is going to be, though. So, 1st and 10 Texans, 10:03 to play from the 14-yard line. Yeah, they're just going to run the ball and work clock. I mean, why not? Pittsburgh with 2 timeouts, 2-minute warning to stop it. But the Texans have gone on these 5-minute drives and scored. Who's going to say they can't do it again until they don't? Which they didn't there for a little bit, because the Steelers defense is making stops. But then, they go for it on 4th and a yard. Pickett gets hurt, and then they give a touchdown. Like, talk about a swing. Talk about a wave of emotions. Talk about, all the momentum completely gone. But, like, if he's going to be healthy and okay, I think they'll be all right. It's going to be a lot like how they were last year. With the transition from one quarterback to the next. That's the thing with a running game. You got to be able to run the football and play good defense. This defense has to make stops. Because 2 games on the road, come home again next week, and then they're on the bye, and then they go on the road, and then they are at home again on the weekend. But, now it's going to be a different story, though, if say Kenny Pickett is hurt, okay, the question's going to come up, well, what are you going to do at quarterback? I can guarantee you what Tomlin's going to say. It's, Mitch Trubisky and Mason Rudolph. They're not going to go outside, looking in to bring somebody, to play quarterback for them at this point. It's just not who they are. Even though they've made other, acquisitions that they normally wouldn't, it's still not them to, mid-season bring in a quarterback, that wasn't on the active roster to begin the season. Injury or not. Now, if it came down to, well, all the quarterbacks hurt, you got to do something then. If they do anything, they'd sign somebody to the practice squad, and then you'd make a move there. Like, that's the thing. The question mark coming out of this game is, what is the injury status of Kenny Pickett, as they give us an update? As we got a good one on Fox, yeah, it is 24-24 in the fourth quarter with Washington and Philadelphia. But, if he's going to be out, all right, you run with Mitch and Mason Rudolph for a little bit, probably, even though that's not the direction I would, let alone all of Steeler Nation would probably, go in for that matter. They'd want somebody else, but it's just not who the Steelers are. I'm telling you, they'd, now, Pickett's hurt and, done for a while, for the season, hopefully not, knock on wood, hopefully he's going to be okay. It looked like, once again, a left ankle, left knee injury, so we'll see. He limped off and then walked out of the tent and walked to the locker room. It's not like they had to cart him off or anything like that, but still, just hopefully he's okay. Everyone seemed to get hurt, but when they're starting quarterback. It's just been one of those years with the injury bug for the Steelers, let alone the NFL. There's been a lot of stars go down again. It happens every few years, and it's circled back around, and here we are. But then they'll still run with who they have, and they might sign somebody to the practice squad, and then they might activate him and be that third-string quarterback, on game day. Texans, in the meantime, third in yards, sneaky, get a first down. So this clock's just going to continue to run. And this game's going to be over with, whether the final score is what it is now or, they end up scoring again, who knows. But with about 7 minutes to play, it's 23-6 Texans. So both teams are going to be 2-2. Texans, as mentioned, next week they'll play at Atlanta. Pittsburgh is hosting Baltimore. So be sure to tune in for those live watch long reactions over on YouTube. So we'll talk here again in a little bit, but they're in a tough spot. They are. But knowing the Steelers, they'll fight through it, and you'd think at least they'll be okay. And I'll leave it at that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's a gut punch is what it is. They had him, and then they, never had him on the hook to leave him off, but they had him right where they wanted him at late, and then with what happened, the momentum was gone. And with that, then there's nothing, they could have done. I mean, there was. They could have stopped him, but then they didn't, and it's just, yeah. They're just, once again, in a tough spot. It's a tough situation. But they're Steelers. They're men of steel. But they're going to lose to the Oilers, Texans, if you will. Former divisional opponent back in the day. But handoff, fumble, they get the first down anyway. So we'll have to wait for confirmation. We'll have to wait, to hear this or that. And it's going to be interesting now until then, even afterwards, on, what ends up happening at that point. So, What else is there to be said? Kendrick Green's down hurt. But, yeah, we got a good one on Fox. 24 piece with Washington and Philadelphia in the NFC East. Once again, WrestleMania 40. WrestleMania 25 was here in Houston, Reliant Stadium, NRG Stadium. They'll host the College World Playoff National Championship game come January, so hopefully there's a team from Pennsylvania in that game. We'll see. But I guess karma's a bitch and goes both ways with these injuries. But they'll take a commercial break. So just I don't even know what else to say. I don't. I think I've said my piece on all that, so I'll leave it at that. There's just they're in a tough spot. They are. They are. So how do you move forward? Where do you go from here? So Kenny Pickett going to end the day officially 15 of 23, 114 yards passing, and interception, which led to 3 points. Which you look at it, that is a big difference because then it's 20-6. He still got 2 chances to score touchdowns to tie it, rather than 3 late. But he, turned it over. They got the field goal. It's 10-0. The other field goal was, just prior to halftime because they couldn't tackle. So, you're looking at 17-6, 2 touchdowns wins it. Let alone, some decision making might have been different earlier with how it went, but this is how the game's going. And they're in the situation they're in, and now they got to figure their way out. So that's why I said it's just going to be interesting to see where they go from here, even though who exactly they're going to be, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, Trubisky 1 of 3, 8 yards. Najee 14 carries, 71 yards right now. I don't know if they're going to get the ball back or not to run us some more. About 4 minutes and change to play here. 2nd and 16 for the Texans. Steelers with 2 timeouts, 2-minute warning, but Texans really could run the clock out here potentially. And then the time of possession is going to be a big stat in this game for sure because, Houston had the ball the whole entire first half, it felt like. It was 18-11, really 19-11. Pittsburgh third quarter up until that 4th and a yard, and then Kenny Pickett gets hurt, and then they give the touchdown on defense. They were coming back, but since then it's been all Texans again. So, Najee Harris right now leading the team in receiving as well for a catch for 32 yards. Pickens 3 of 25. Austin 3 of 24. Jalen Warren 4 catch, 16 yards. Darnell Washington had a big catch for a first down and 10 yards, but Robinson a catch for 8. Freiermuth 3 of 7. Defense playing their ass off, but making stops or not, they still gave up 23 points and they were only able to score 6. That pass caught, well, make it 30 because the Texans just scored again. C.J. Stroud with a long touchdown pass there, and excuse me. Just one of those days now for the Steelers. Another touchdown late. Like, he can't even cover, let alone tackle. 29-6, make it 30-6, 3:39 to play. So the offense will get the ball back, but look at the score, 30-6. It was what, 31-7? Your final score, 38-7 against the Niners, week 1. Said at the start, Houston, similar game plan probably. Well, yeah, for the most part. I mean, they slowed down in the third quarter because Pittsburgh took control, but then they, from the 4th and 1 stop to a touchdown to another touchdown, defense giving up more points. So I'm saying, like, yeah, defense playing their ass off, but they're also giving up all these big plays. They've also given up 30 points now when they've only scored 6. You know, so we're back to where we started from week 1, you know, and then to week 2, week 3, from a loss to 2 wins, now another loss. Thing is, it's one game, it's a long season. So you move on. Because remember, the last time they lost, they won at home against a divisional opponent. They're going to lose today, but they're playing a divisional opponent at home next week in the Ravens. So, you know, maybe history will repeat itself there from just the past few weeks. But just, they got to flat out just play better. You know, they can't be playing like a bunch of fucking third graders once again. They can't. You know, because if so, it's just, man. Trubisky going to run a draw with Jalen Warren. He gets 5 yards, fumbles it. He was down. Texans pick it up and run it back in the end zone. Touchdown for the time being. Good God. Can it get much fucking worse? Good God. Now they're putting it to them. And they're going to win by 30 plus. I didn't think he was down. Or I thought he was down, excuse me. I didn't think he coughed it up before he went down. Like, you know, he fumbled it. Yeah, knees down right there. Ball still in his hand. That's not a fumble. That's a Steeler 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5. That's not a defense touchdown. Challenge it. All scoring plays are reviewed, though, so he's down. His knee's down. Of course, they have to find an instead of evidence to return it, but his knee was down right there. Then the ball's coming out afterwards. He's down. But still, I mean, okay, they overturned it, no touchdown. So 2nd and 5 for the Steelers from the 30. But don't turn it over again. They run the same play. Warren. Of course, now they're going to be punching for the ball. He gets 4 yards, 3rd and a yard. So just, yeah. You still got to move on from this. You know, so how do you respond next week? Third and a yard, they get a first down. Warren to the 40. But yeah, as they're mentioning, bringing up, yeah, right now it's what's the status of Kenny Pickett? Yeah, I don't know why Tomlin thought it was a good idea to fire Bruce Arians, but he did. That's always come back to bite them, because then they go from coordinator to coordinator to coordinator, and it just hasn't worked out. Like Ben Roethlisberger has been a better offensive coordinator than the coordinators they've had, you know, because he's the one calling the shots. Well, he's been retired, though, now for a couple years. You know, they drafted Pickett. Trubisky started the season last year. Pickett took over. Trubisky takes over about a year later after he got benched for Kenny Pickett, and then Pickett started. Officially a year ago next week, yeah, when they went up to Buffalo and got their ass kicked. And that, another trend, like, home or away, more so not away, when they're losing, it's in blowout fashion because, home crowd, defense can't make stops, offense ain't doing shit. Like, there's a trend there, which ain't a good thing. But yeah, right now it's with 2 minutes to play, 2-minute warning, 30-6, Texans on top of Steelers. Steelers ball. What's the status of Kenny Pickett? Okay, is he going to play or not? If not, they'll play with who they have. And that's the thing with a running game. You got to run the football. But then they'll be one-dimensional if they can't throw, whether it's Trubisky or Rudolph. As technically, if Pickett's out next week, let alone longer than that, knock on wood, we'll see. Hopefully not. They'll both then be active, and that's why I said they'll end up signing somebody to the practice squad and then elevate them just to be the third-string emergency quarterback. Who that could be beats me. Whether it's a vet, whether it's a rookie, whether it's somebody who's, played, good football in the past or not, who the hell knows? It circles back around to the offensive play calling, though, once again with Matt Canada. It's coach's coach. The players still got to execute, though, too. So, it's, once again, as much on them as it is, on the call. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get how they can think that, playing the way they're playing is good enough to win, because it's not. That's not that hard to see. It's absolutely fucking pathetic that, it takes them half the game to get going, and then they either keep it going and they find a way to win, or they let it slip as they did here, because then the defense gives up a couple more touchdowns, and then, add the injury on top of it today to Kenny Pickett. 2nd and 6, once again, they're in a tough spot, tough situation. So here's your Texans stats. Doesn't look like they're going to get the ball back. Stroud, 16-30, 306 yards with 2 touchdowns. He was pressured a couple times. They never got to him on a sack today, and that was one of the main things of the game. Hell, Devin Singletary had a halfback pass for 6 yards and a touchdown. Also 25 yards on 7 carries, but Dameon Pierce, 24 of 81. Stroud also had 16 yards rushing on 4 carries for a 4-yard average. Somebody that didn't want to cover Nico Collins. He had 7 catches, 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. 3 of 42 for Schultz in the score. Pierce had a catch for 27 yards. Woods, 3 of 26. John Mechie, catch for 22. Tank Dell, catch for 16. Singletary, catch for 11 as well. Their defense played damn good. Fairbairn had 3 field goals, all within 40 yards. Good on all of his extra points. But they controlled the game from the start with the line of scrimmage, the time of possession, the run game, stopping Pittsburgh's run. Really the whole entire first half. It was 16-0. That'll probably be the final play of the game. They don't have to snap it unless they want to. Tomlin's already walking on the field, so the Texans are going to beat the Steelers officially 30-6 here this afternoon. Both teams now are going to be 2-2. Houston at Atlanta. Pittsburgh hosting Baltimore next week as their post-game handshakes. So 3, 2, 1. Steelers lose 30-6. We await an update on Kenny Pickett's injury, let alone Pat Freiermuth and everybody else, because they've been hit by the injury bug this season. From a loss to 2 wins to another loss, they fall to 2-2 with a 30-6 defeat at Houston today. Houston spanked the Steelers, CBS says, as they paid homage to the Miami Dolphin mascot, acting as if he fucking died after they scored 70 points last week. As they'll give us bonus coverage now on CBS, Dolphins Bills was 14-14, and then it was 31-14 at halftime. Buffalo now with a couple minutes to play, leading Miami 48-20. So the 20 points the Dolphins scored today was good enough for what Denver scored last week. Hell, we might have had an interesting game. But from 70-20, yeah, that's not good. I mean, you want to be steady. So Miami is going to lose their first game and get to 3-1. Buffalo, the same, as they lost week 1 Monday Night Football on a game-winning punt return overtime, but then now they've won 3 straight. Yeah, 5:30 to play. They're up 4 scores. But that's the bonus coverage on CBS. We're still watching Washington and Philadelphia on Fox, I might add, as well. Tied at 24. So we'll have a Week 4 update with scores later on. I'm going to sign off here shortly. Yeah, the Steelers are in a tough situation. But yeah, hopefully Pickett's okay. If he's not, though, then you'd think, stick with who they have for sure. Because that's just who they are. Even though the question's going to come up, well, first off, what's his status? 2, do you plan on going to out-sign anybody? And he's going to say no. They're going to run with Trubisky. They're going to run with Rudolph. If they'd sign anybody, it's going to be the practice squad. And then they'll activate them, the 53-man roster with the emergency third-string quarterback, whoever that might be. But that's the thing on the running game. They got to run the football. Hopefully they don't get one-dimensional, though. But this defense, yeah, they're good, but they need to make more stops when it comes down to it. I mean, really, it was Houston's game from the start. It was. I mean, like I said, they controlled the line of scrimmage. They controlled the clock. Final stats now. Kenny Pickett, once again, 15-23, $114 with the interception that led to 3 points. That was crucial, a big difference, before he went down. And then after he went down, momentum's gone, and the Texans score twice more and win it 30-6. So 3 sacks for Pickett as well. Trubisky in relief, 3 of 5, 18 yards. Najee Harris, 14 carries, 71 yards rushing. Jalen Warren, 8 of 29. Najee Harris leading the team in receiving, though, which ain't good. 1 catch for 32 yards. When Jalen Warren was right behind him, 6 for 26 for Stitch. Pickens, 3 of 25. Calvin Austin, 3 of 24. Darnell Washington, once again, a big first down catch for 10 yards. Freiermuth went down with an injury, had 8 yards receiving. Hopefully he's okay as well. Allen Robinson, a catch for 8. Minka led the total tackles with 11. Landon Roberts right behind him with 10, 7, and 5 respectively in the solo regard. And then they only had 3 tackles for loss today. No sacks on CJ Stroud. They got pressure, forced a couple throwaways, but that was it. And then Boswell 2 of 2 on field goals. 35 and 23 if I'm not mistaken. 4th and a yard, kick a 51-yarder. They went for it. Kenny Pickett goes down, momentum's gone, game's over. That's when the game completely switched. Because it was all Houston early. 16-0 at halftime. Once again, they controlled the line of scrimmage, they controlled the clock. Officially, it's going to show split for the most part, -5. I mean, 32, 35, 27, 25. Surprisingly, the Steelers only had 2 penalties called against them today. It seemed like a ton more. Houston with 8 for 63. Probably should have had more than that because the refs missed a lot of calls. Not blaming that on the loss, though, because, simply got beat. And this game's a lot like Week 1 and a lot like, Texans using the 49ers game plan, it seemed like, as I said from the start. Yeah, they doubled up on the first downs, 24-12. Both teams were about 50% on third down. doubled them in the fucking total yardage, 451 to 225. Because Pittsburgh had 111 yards passing today and 114 yards rushing, whereas Houston had 312 yards passing, 139 yards rushing. So, like, yeah, offense just not moving the ball. And even when they were, they had to settle for 3 inside the red zone. You know, you score touchdowns there. I mean, who knows? You know, it's probably a whole different ball game because they probably don't go for it. They probably kick it. Just because it was 16-6 at that point. You know, okay, 4th and a yard. But if it's 2 touchdowns, you're up a point, you kick it, you know, 17-13 then. Or if a combination of both, you probably still kick it, you're down 3, another field goal ties it. Yeah, they're 0-2 in the red zone. And those 2 touchdown drives were field goal drives instead. You know, so that's why you got to rely on special teams unless they get shut out because they didn't do anything else. You know, defense couldn't stop them. But coming out of halftime, they went and kicked the field goal. Momentum starting to build up. Got off the field on defense again. Went and drove and kicked another field goal. Should have been a touchdown. So it's 16-6. Touchdown then takes the lead, 17-16. Or kick a field goal. You know, that 4th and 1, kick a field goal, 16-13, get another field goal in the 4th quarter. But 16-6, they go for it on 4th and yard. And, I mean, it's just how the game went, you know, and they made the decisions they made. And, I mean, looking back on it, it's, yeah, everything was fine and dandy up until they didn't convert. Well, it wasn't fine and dandy. They were fucking losing. You get my point. Like, the momentum was there on their side, and they were, like I was saying a little bit ago, they were so close yet so far away, though. You know, they show us bonus coverage, and we continue to finish watching Philadelphia. Looks like the Eagles just scored and took a lead to potentially win it. But you had the momentum. You know, it was 16-6. You go for it on 4th and yard. You don't get it. Pitt goes down with an injury. Left ankle, left knee injury, it looked like. We'll see what his status is. Hopefully he's okay, knock on wood. But, you know, from there, it was all Houston. Whereas if it's, you know, 16-6, you kick the 51-yarder, you know, he doesn't get hurt then on that play. Who knows how they play the rest of the way because they need a touchdown at 5-16. And, you know, the defense is not getting up 2 more scores as they did. You know, you'd think, hopefully not. Who knows though? Maybe they still do, and then they maybe, you know, lose, you know, 30-13, 30-16, you know. But that's not how the game went, you know. And this is where we sit at now. Both teams at 2-2 with a 30-6 win for the Houston Texans on top of the Pittsburgh Steelers today. So that's about it. For me, we'll see, you know, what they do as an organization. Like I said, really, it's first off, what's the status of Kenny Pickett? If he's going to be okay, you know, it's just one game here. You got your ass kicked again, even though you're, you know, so close yet so far away, though, because after he went down, they gave a couple more scores. Like, if they want to give up those scores after he went down, they still might have had a chance, you know, and then it's totally reversed with, you know, with what we're talking about right now, even though it's still lingering. You know, it's like, okay, they still won, but then they lose more than they lose in the loss today, if that makes sense. So, yeah, what's the status of Kenny Pickett? If he's okay, he's okay then. If he's not, either way, though, they're going to run with who they have at quarterback, I think, because it's just not them to go out and sign somebody. If they do go out and sign somebody, and if they have to, which they might have to, they might not have to, though. Who knows? We'll see. That's the thing. First things first, what's the status of Kenny Pickett? Be interesting. Tomlin says in post-game presser, he normally has injury updates. You know, if, you know, he doesn't, though, as I'm sure he's being evaluated for a left leg injury, for an ankle or a knee, you know, and then that's that. But, you know, they'll stick with who they have. If they bring in anybody, which they might not once again. Might have to, though, just for safety reasons. You know, just so you have somebody. It's going to be signing somebody to the practice squad, and they elevate them potentially to be the emergency third-string quarterback on game days if it comes down to it. Who, once again, that would be, I don't know. you know, but then if he's fine, you know, okay, you just move on. He plays eventually, you get through it, and then you're right back where you started from. Hopefully, you know, offense is playing better at that point, get back in the groove. Didn't necessarily take a step back today, but I mean, they did have a 2-game winning streak going, which really, you know, both those games could have been losses too. You know, they could be 0-4 right now, you know, so they're 2-2, so you take it. And they're 1-0 in the division. And with, you know, Cincinnati not looking great this year, you know, Cleveland just lost again, who Pittsburgh's already beat. Pittsburgh hosts the Ravens next week. Like, scheduling going to get any easier, but then the schedule is going to be sort of in their favor in the division in the AFC North because played the Browns week 2, beat them on Monday Night Football, host the Ravens next week. The next time then after that, though, they play a divisional opponent. It's not going to be right until Thanksgiving. And then it's in back-to-back weeks in the Ohio State with Cincinnati and Cleveland back-to-back before and after Thanksgiving. And then they host the Bengals before Christmas, and they go to the Ravens week 18. So then if they can take care of business here and there in between, they're still going to be okay. You know, from now until the end of the season, they're still going to be in it. They're going to have to find other ways to win. And that's the thing with this defense, let alone the special teams. I mean, get a fucking return for once. Get some good field position. You know, defense gets off the field. Defense makes stops, you know, half the time. Half the time they don't. You know, just the way it is. You know, they'll be all right. They just got to find other ways to win. So we'll see what that entails when it comes down to it. But that's going to be where they're at, you know, starting now. I mean, starting really the start of the season, because you just win, baby. You know, they beat the Raiders last week. You just find a way to win. I don't care what it fucking takes, as long as it's in between the lines. You do what you got to do to win. You know, you figure your way out, and they'll figure your way out from, you know, losing today and, you know, moving on with what they, you know, have been dealt. So, like I said, they're in a tough spot. They're in a tough situation, but we'll see where they go and we go from here. As always, I'll be live right here on YouTube with more coverage. So be sure to tune in then, and that'll be next week with the Steelers and Ravens at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So hope to see everybody then. Thanks for tuning in and watching today. But in the meantime, yeah, that'll do it for myself, your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Kuwait and Luke 96, live right here on YouTube. So once again, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. Unfortunately, the Texans defeat the Steelers today. Your final score, 30-6.